Bang 'em.
Welcome. What?
Bang 'em.
What was that?
That's just a hype thing.
Is it?
Yeah, bang 'em hard.
What?
Is it?
Wrong
Yeah.
start.
Monticello High School, 2012.
Oh, really?
Run around and say bang 'em
They
hard.
used to say.
Yeah, dude.
That's what they used to
Oh my
say.
goodness.
Speaking of, shout out to the 1999 Stab football state championship team. Got to hang out with those boys the other day at my high school. There's a big reunion there.
25 years.
I didn't deserve to be out there getting recognized. I was just an eighth grader that got called up to varsity for the state playoffs and stood there on the side. You ever feel like you have imposter syndrome? Funny, I'm asking you. We've talked about this before.
I was thinking about myself as a member of this pod, actually.
Yeah, no. And I always have it too. But definitely when I was out there, like standing with those dudes who I didn't play at all in that state championship game, and I'm kind of looking at them like, are they thinking what I'm thinking? Like, he's not supposed to be here. It's super awkward because I went a long way in my football career, and but not so. Shout out to the 25th anniversary of the Stab football team winning the state title. Bang them.
Bang 'em hard.
Bag them hard.
Let them know.
Let me get in the chat, bro. Let me get in the chat this morning. I got to see what the chat's talking about.
I hope everybody from Friday who put in a most random player for the Eagles-Bengals game is here.
Welcome to the show. Should we select the winner of this week's MRP challenge?
Yeah.
See who gets some free gear.
And again, it's on Twitter every Friday, on X. You can drop in your comment. Obviously, comment along with us on the show on Friday, but drop in your most random player. Garrison Hurst was called out last Friday by us on the show.
That's pretty good. What we should start doing is probably reviewing this list before the show starts so we can pick one together.
I did that. I have a top 7 if you're
Top 7, sure. Hit me with the top 7.
Hank Fraley, Roderick Bunkley,
Okay.
Clyde Simmons.
That's not. So Clyde Simmons has over 100 career sacks. There's nothing random about Clyde Simmons.
He's a stud.
Via Sikahema.
Who said Clyde Simmons, let's cover both teams? Are you doing the Royal Let's, hoping to win a contest? And you're naming a guy who should probably be like a borderline Hall of Famer?
I got Todd Pinkston. I got Takeo Spikes. Icky Woods.
Tim Rosovich was also he was one of my favorites mentioned.
You guys, that's a good one. That's super
Also
random.
actor.
I might need you to
One
go
of the best
deeper in the
actors.
bag there, Matt, personally, because you're highlighting
Scroll
guys.
through.
Is yours.
Lido Shepard. Okay, go down. Cedric Pierman. I like that one.
Ceddy P.
Cedric Pierman. Crumry. Crumry was a coach, I think.
Tim Crumry is a legend, bro. Absolute legend. Wisconsin Badger legend. One of my all-time great Badger football players.
I love the pandering to the RX old school.
Yeah, people are trying to get it. Yeah, it's
I
very
like
smart.
that.
Very
I like
smart.
that.
Ben Jarvis Green Ellis, the law firm. You win.
That might, yeah.
Yeah.
You win. Congratulations.
There you go.
That's how I'm going to decide week to week.
J.M. Kelly.
It's a very inexact
Yeah, it was
science.
Jim Kelly, I guess.
Who's it? What?
Might have been Jim Kelly. J.M. Kelly 6.
J.M.
Just
Kelly.
missing an eye.
Yeah. That's our guy, Jim Kelly. Sorry if my voice is a little fucked up. I don't know what happened to me. I really don't.
Yeah.
I went to a Little Feat concert Friday night. For any of the older folks in the chat that know Little Feat, Little Feat is a band that might be before your time. You as well, Bo. But it was a great time. Shout out to Bill. I got to go back and meet Bill. Absolute legend.
What does before my time mean when we're like 3 years apart?
Well, maybe 3 years before your time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Cool. I respect that.
Did you take offense?
No, I just wanted to know.
Yeah. I don't know. You don't really listen to old music, so I just figured maybe. Anyways.
You're around old people?
Chris, I went to a concert on Friday, too. Sabrina Carpenter concert. So if my voice is
That's
a little...
after my time.
Yeah, that's a little after your time. If my voice... I was shrieking with the rest of the 10 to 15-year-old girls, so my voice is a little shot, that's why.
Well, how was the Sabrina Carpenter concert?
Absolutely fucking electric, bro.
Really? What did you wear to that concert?
I had a nice little fit. I had some leopard print pants on. You would have really liked it.
You had leopard print pants on?
Yeah, I was kind of fitted and kidded. I'm not gonna lie. Here, I'll send a photo to our group chat.
Yeah, send a photo to the group chat so we can put it on the podcast if you're okay with that.
Sabrina Carpenter, Quakertown, PA. Perhaps
Yeah.
a Birds fan.
She is a Birds
About that?
fan. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I didn't know who she was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I just found out.
For the record. For the
It was
record.
kind of a great show. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. It was really good.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Well, how are we going to start today? Where do you guys want to go? Where do you want to go first?
Well, do you have any
We've
America's
already
teams?
started.
America's teams? I don't really have one. No.
Yeah, no
No.
one needs America's teams.
No. America's teams, people love Hail Marys.
Yeah.
I mean, that was unbelievable. We actually got a real Hail Mary. We don't, like, I think, dudes, when do you think the last Hail Mary was that, like, won a football game? That won an NFL game?
Hail Mary, maybe.
The Green Bay.
No, it was the Hail Murray.
I feel like Aaron Rodgers.
It was the Hail Murray in 2020.
DeAndre
It
Hopkins.
was DeAndre Hopkins.
He made a great play too.
That throw was incredible. And Hopkins went up and just got it.
Just got it.
Yeah.
You know,
Reached way back there.
Yeah.
a lot of these things. And then you have the Rodgers 4 years prior. It's kind of like an election year thing. It's like every election year there's a Hail Mary that wins an NFL game because it went back to 2020. And then I'm sorry to remind y'all it's an election year. Fuck me. 2016, I think we also had a Hail Mary. I think there were two for the Packers in 1 year. I think it was Detroit, and I think it was the playoff game against Arizona. One of those Hail Marys that Rodgers threw had to be one of the best Hail Marys of all time. I mean, of all time. He threw the ball like 65 yards, like a punt.
Yeah.
And that's the whole key to that thing. You got to put some loft under it.
That's it.
Because then you get those soft bounces. And how many times have we seen in defensive meeting rooms, Bo, Nate,
Knock it down.
like just knock it down, bro.
Knock it down.
Just knock it down, not up, down.
Knock it down.
Down towards the
Do
ground.
not try to get an interception. Knock it down.
And definitely don't mug
down
it.
and forward.
Yeah, down and forward.
And forward. Away from the end zone. Understand that. Like, I just don't understand it. It makes me upset.
Well, what makes me upset? Well, nothing makes me upset because I had
Yeah.
Kami's money line, and I just didn't want to stomach the narrative thing, where it's like, well, Jayden's not the best quarterback now, you know, because whatever happened in the fourth quarter. I just to let them hit that speed out and get in range, and then not bring pressure on these Hail Marys, which I understand why maybe you don't press in that situation because of what Jayden Daniels can do to you know, any corner, you know, even with help over the top. Like, it's one play and
Those yards don't matter.
But the yards, it's the time. It's 6 seconds to go. You know, they don't have any timeouts. They let them hit that out. And then next thing you know, it's just the buying time. The buying time is what gets you because you want everybody down there waiting in a crowd. You know what I'm saying? I just thought.
That's teach tape of how to do that. That's going to be teach tape for everyone how to do, like,
most importantly, how not to do it.
well, it's both.
I don't know if
It's
it
on
was
both
great.
sides.
Yeah.
It's
It was
it's
great
how it's how
execution
not
from
to do
Jayden
it.
Daniels.
Yeah, it's how not to do it for a defense, and it's exactly what you want to do on an offense.
He threw the ball
Quarterback,
65 yards.
quarterback, you try to get as much time as you can to get your guys into position, and then you just let that shit rip.
I don't know if he threw it 65 yards.
Hey,
it was around 60.
Chris, you remember
Whatever he did, but
Philly
like it's
did?
just getting it there.
Yeah.
It's just like give him a chance.
What were you
I was
gonna
just gonna
say?
say, remember how Schwartz would always talk about crow hopping? Like, yeah. Jayden Daniels didn't even really like
Didn't even have to
step
crow
into
hop.
that, like a huge shot putter. Like, he kind of ripped it. It was an incredible throw from him.
It was-
65 yards in the air with a fucked up rib. Just
It was a great throw, and also how much time he bought. Like, I think it was like
Exactly.
I don't know, if it was 12
Over
seconds.
13
seconds.
seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time. It's enough time for Tyreek Stevenson to stand there in the corner of the end zone like this, like
Face the other way.
you know, like
as
just.
a wave of commanders run at him.
I've never
Hey,
seen anything
Nate.
like that.
All I
Something
could
like
think
that.
about during that, like when we all, like I saw the clip after the game or whatever, is just clout demons. That's all I could think about. My guy got by the clout demons.
The Clout Demons. The Clout Demons got the Bama guys on 4th and short when they did the TikTok dance.
Bro, it's a drug, bro.
This guy's a
It's,
second-year player.
it's a drug.
And not to mention, we'll just say this. He didn't have a good day at the office. He did not have a good day at the office in general. That McLaurin ball. Now, he did take the ball off Ertz in the end zone, but that McLaurin ball's on him. The guy's making – I mean, he was seatbelting somebody in the end zone. The guy has to be the most unaware human being in the NFL. After a game like that where you were targeted 10-plus times in the game, to stand in the corner of the end zone and do that during the play, like as the play's going, dude.
And then be the one that –
you're the one that's supposed to box it out.
And
box it out. And you're the
one that gets your hand on it and ends up tipping it.
And then he's palms up. He's palms up looking at other guys.
I think this is perfect.
This is the fan video from inside the belly of the beast. This person's
look at the Bears fans.
Look at the video. But the play's like underway.
And here's my thing that I'm really upset about. The Bears have, I think, 1 or 2 timeouts left. Like, what are you holding timeouts for? And also, we see it happen so many times. Every single coach, before a last play like this, if this was a field goal and you have timeouts, what are you going to do? You're going to call a timeout. Or last play, you let them line up, and then you call a timeout so you see what the offense is maybe lining up in.
They were in Hail Mary, but I agree.
And then you can tell and get everybody like lined up to make sure, hey, do you guys remember? You guys know what you're all doing on this.
That part.
And then the people up in the box, also whoever's looking down, why can't you see that your player is not paying attention and call down, hey, call a timeout. And then also the players on the field. Why wasn't one of your teammates able to look? It's not their fault, but like it's just awareness.
Are you saying they should have called a timeout like pre-snap there?
No. One of those teammates to yell. No one's like yelling.
Oh yeah, like come on.
Are you aware?
Hey,
yeah,
the play is starting, but everybody's so locked into what's going on. They're all doing their jobs.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like one of those things where you can't do this guy's job for him. So basically, you end up in a situation if you are the Bears where, you know, like you play like shit offensively for probably 3 quarters, and you probably don't feel like you deserve to win this game, and you know you play with your food. You're handing the ball to an offensive lineman in the red zone. I didn't think it could get any worse than the Indianapolis red zone trips for them early in the season, you know. But this was even worse. And you end up in a situation where you go on the road in the NFL, and it's a big game. The big game atmosphere was real watching this thing. And to leave a stadium like that where the sun's down, it's a 4 p.m. game, you got a short flight back to Chicago, you can be in a really good spot. And they still are in a good spot. But to lose the game like that, this is the type of thing that can linger. So if you are the Bears, if you are Matt Eberflus, I know it's just one game, but this is the type of loss that can fuck a month up. Mm-hmm. And they got to get rid of this flu. They got to get on the plane. They already did back in Chicago. Who knows what they're doing now? But they need to move forward. And you know, Stevenson's a good player. I'll say that. He did not play well, and the icing on the cake in that game was just terrible. But I thought Commanders' defense was the story of this game. I mean, they were the story of this game. A couple things I wanted to point out to y'all. 57% pressure rate. And I'm not talking about getting pressure. I'm talking about bringing the blitz. So over half the time, and one thing that was immediately apparent to me watching this game was Dan Quinn was cooking a little bit, and it wasn't too complicated. He was running their stuff. They weren't afraid to man up time to time. But most importantly, I think the thing they came into the game and said, we're going to take away his easy options. When we're in zone, we're going to know where the quick option is for him. We're going to take away those windows, close them quick. And then also we're going to bring pressure up the middle. If you watch this game, it was Luvu, it was Wagner, it was constant. It was a barrage of pressure up the middle, trying to make that guy feel small in the pocket, which he already does. And, hey, listen, this is an anti-Caleb Williams thing. He's a young player. He'll play well in the future. But this was a game where the Commanders had a good game plan for him. And I think early in the game, another thing the Commanders did really well, guys, I don't know if you noticed this, is the screen game. I mean, the screen game was non-existent for the Bears. And more often than not, it was like nothing. It was like couldn't even get it going. You think about Caleb getting the yips a little bit and throwing it out of bounds over the edge defender's head. They were just nervous early in this game. I thought there were moments. That 3rd and 20, out of the gate, they find themselves 3rd and 20. I think Keenan Allen's open late in the down. There were just opportunities that he missed early, and nobody's saying it's fair. Nobody's saying to ask this kid to go on the road and play like lights out and take advantage in dirty pockets at times, but that's what's going to be demanded of you because the guy on the other sideline did it. And I'll say this, it's really hard coming in this game for people that have not watched both quarterbacks play. Maybe you've just been watching your quarterback. Maybe you haven't been watching Jayden. Maybe it's vice versa. You look at the stats, they're relatively similar. The records of the team are relatively similar. But the distance between these two guys is not insignificant at this point. And I thought when you watch Jayden play tonight, he staked his claim as the best rookie. I mean, that just is what it is. Caleb's a franchise quarterback. I believe it. He's going to play better in the future, but this wasn't his day. And I think early in the game, you know, we talked about 3rd and 20, sailing the ball in the flat. I think 3rd and 2, and some people are going to say this is nitpicky, 3rd and 2 in a low-scoring football game near midfield, when you take off up the middle to run and you slide short of the sticks on 3rd and 2 and there's one guy to beat, I'm sorry. I'm not questioning his toughness because he's a very tough player. You can tell he's willing to take big hits. He stands in there in the pocket. He'll scramble. But in that moment, you got to pick up the first down, in my opinion. And there were just
gave him the benefit of the doubt too. In the broadcast, they were like, "Oh, he got a little spun around, like he probably didn't know where the sticks was." It's like he like turned his head around, he saw the defender, and then he ended up sliding, and he was short. But I completely agree with you, Chris. I'm happy you brought that up because it's like, dude, you could just barrel ahead and take a hit and pick up the first down. It's like
we sound old school, and we sound like, you know, we're piling on a kid. Again, I'm not piling on this kid. I thought he's handled a lot of the situations the last 3-4 weeks of the season really well. He's improved a lot, and the offense has improved a lot. But I think they had moments where, listen, those 2 drives at the end of the game, more, you know, hitting more with Wagner in your face. That's a moment where you say, hey, we're going to be okay. You know, no matter what happened the first 3 quarters. On a macro level, if we can get more plays like that, more with Wagner in his face, and then beating Armstrong to the edge and hitting Keenan Allen on the run, like these are the plays we came to expect of this guy watching his college tape. But I think what Dan Quinn did a great job of was just taking away the easy options. And so if you got to live off of that stuff, it's going to be a long day. And so I thought the run game, they found it before the half, Chicago. They should have stuck with it a little bit more. Because once they got the run game going, they were putting things together. Shane Waldron coming out of the half, you cannot go 40 seconds your first possession of the half. I thought the Commanders did a great job coming out of the half, 5 minutes of possession, flipped the field with the punt, 40-second possession for the Bears, and next thing you know, the Commanders have a short field again, and they're back to work. So I think for Jayden, you could see it all night, making people miss, the work with his legs. That, you know, there's almost nobody in the league right now that I'm more confident in when I see that ball separate and that shoulder dip, and I know he's throwing it somewhere out of frame. I'm very confident in where that ball is going to land. That shot to McLaurin, just a half a season in, I'm like, this guy's deep ball is up there with all the dudes.
And it's so pretty.
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty. It's so pretty. And it's not just that stuff. You know, it's so easy to be like, yeah, you're getting enamored with this kid's big arm. It's the stuff underneath. It's beating the blitz. It's the movement, the subtle movement. Setting up that Hail Mary, go back and watch. Darrell Taylor up and under, quick like that, hitting that chunk to Ertz, I believe it was, to get them where they needed to go. Mm-hmm. He doesn't even take his eyes off the rush, or he doesn't even take his eyes off downfield. He just kind of makes the adjustment and moves. He doesn't panic back there. He really is a very cool customer.
He also has the situational awareness when he does that. Like, he kind of knows his personnel, and like in that game, multiple times he stopped so many players in their tracks, running forward and like doing like a small hesitation move.
He understands leverage,
and he understands it like very, very well. And it's like, as a rookie, it's crazy like that he can do all that.
And they were willing to run the ball.
Yep.
Look at that first drive. Like, they were willing to run the ball. They were more willing to run the ball in Chicago, I believe, early, than Chicago was willing to run the ball on Washington early. And you could argue that Chicago was the team that absolutely had to run the ball on the road to stay in this game. And luckily, you know, you had, my God, that throw to McCaffrey with Montez Sweat on him in the corner of the end zone. Now, it didn't count because McCaffrey couldn't toe tap. But that it's stuff like that. You know, it's you know, the ball to Ertz in the red zone there that would have been 6. Stevenson actually played the ball and knocked it out. There were a couple moments in this game where it could have gotten a little bit more out of hand. They didn't finish. They'll want to go back and say, hey, we need to finish games like this. But the Rookie Bowl did not disappoint from a quality of play standpoint. And the irony of it is, it's because of the quality of the roster on both of these teams. I mean, Jayden Daniels was great. Caleb Williams had his moments. But I think you watch these two teams, they're really well constructed in general. Mm-hmm. Bears fans would say, hey, the offensive line's not constructed well. You know, Bears fans might have a few qualms with that statement. But I think if you're a Commanders fan, what you can see is a team that's way ahead of schedule. Yeah. Way ahead of schedule. And Dan Quinn has been sitting there since that 28-3 game, got all the blame for that thing, while Kyle Shanahan, who I really like, is like the boy wonder and everybody loves him. He didn't call those pass plays, you know, to get knocked out of field goal range in that game. Dan Quinn coached his team into position of winning a Super Bowl, and I know he shares some of that responsibility and probably eats up. But he's been sitting, you know, on the sideline being a DC, kind of biding his time, and I think a lot of people sold him short as a head coach, and seeing what he's done with this young quarterback and the pieces around him, hiring Cliff Kingsbury, the whole thing, Josh Harris. I'm watching Josh Harris at the shot at the end of the game, and it's like, my moment is ruined. This was going to be the big moment. This is going to be the big affirming moment for us. And he's on the sideline, and he's just like, everybody's like, man, we just kicked their ass for 50 minutes. Mm-hmm. And we let them back in the game because we kicked field goals, and we missed a field goal at one point. Mm-hmm. And it just was almost a big disappointment, but the magic happened. So just an incredible game.
Quickly, I want to give a best seat to everybody who watches football, because everyone who watches football knows that the actual worst seat right now is Dan Snyder having to sell the team and watching the Commanders actually get good. And watching that shitty stadium withstand a completion of a Hail Mary, everyone get excited. We thought it was going to collapse, but they made it.
Do we have to go now?
Bro, I think that's affirmation, bro. Like, I think about it like this: unless they go to a playoffs and something like that happens, when will that stadium have a reason to erupt like they just did yesterday?
Can you show that video I sent you?
Yeah.
Can you show that video I sent you? That was awesome.
Because honestly, for your fear, if something was going to happen, it would have been yesterday, right? Yeah. Don't you think?
Yeah.
For sure.
We literally watched the play happen, and we were like, "Wow, it's the
But how many of those can the stadium withstand?"
That's
my question.
Maybe it just
all right. Roll this. This is.
I feel as though it was a good game because it was close. Like, I feel as though we won for real. We like.
What I say?
I feel as though it was a good game because it was close. Like, I feel as though we won for real.
That's how I felt holding a Commanders ticket.
Yeah,
that's exactly how I felt holding that Commanders ticket. I was like, it was the right side. Like, come on. But for the Bears to do what they did at the end of the game and fumble it at the goal line and all that, I mean, just, you know, that. And I'm sure some Bears fans are waking up today like, we deserve to win. No, you didn't.
Nope.
You were not better for most of that game.
That's not how it works.
You know, it's just not how it works, man. So,
you know what else is impressive, too, I wanted to just throw out there?
What?
Jayden Daniels didn't practice 2 days this week because of his ribs.
I know.
And also, us on the outside, we really don't know how bad those ribs are hurting.
Oh, yeah.
But just the thought of his ribs hurting and him having to open up to throw a ball 60-plus yards at the end.
Some of the shots he took.
Of a game when he's already wincing.
All over him.
Yeah.
He took a lot of shots. He's tough, man. I mean, I like him. I was wondering about that too, Nate, because it's interesting. You have these two rookie quarterbacks. They're both pretty green, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jayden Daniels does not play like that, though. Like, he's poised as hell. But, like, Caleb Williams looked very shook at times, and it's like I almost feel like he would have played better if he wasn't coming off of a bye week.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. It's like too much time to think.
Little
about
tight,
it. And
little tight.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that fumble. Like, Shane Waldron has to get more shit really for that play call. It's 3rd and 1. Hand the ball off to a running back, some guy who's been there, and then if that doesn't work, kick a field goal. You're up 8.
For sure, dude.
What's the allure?
You're not Andy Reid. Like, you don't have a pass to do that and get away with it.
If
like,
you're
go
ahead.
Go ahead, Nate.
No, if you're a play caller, what's the allure of, like, you know what? We're in the red zone. Let's give the ball to an O lineman. Like, I don't get it. Like,
Yeah,
is that
not-
like
not with
is
the
that
game
like I
on the
want to
line.
rub it? I want to rub it in your
Not
face.
with the game on the line. Leave that to the Lions. Leave it to Andy
Yeah.
Reid.
But I don't get it.
As Bo
I don't.
pointed out.
But honestly, I don't get what it does for your offense to have an O lineman score. Like,
I don't-
honestly,
It's one thing if the design is a pass play and you're throwing to a guy who's
leaking out.
Yeah, they're not thinking
Yeah.
about covering him. But anytime a team brings a fullback in, you're thinking
It
about
is
a fullback
inside
guy. I mean,
run.
It doesn't matter who's lined up there.
it does.
It is inside
Exactly.
run. You're in the I formation with a fucking guy that's 300 pounds in a 3-point stance. Like, yeah, buckle up.
But
so they didn't even get the handoff off.
Yeah.
Right.
And when stuff like that happens, it's kind of like you deserve it.
Yeah.
Because it's just like run a regular play. Like, run a regular play.
No, I know. It was too fancy. Too fancy.
But it's not even fancy. It's really just dumb.
Oh, you fancy, huh?
Oh, you dumb, huh? Because I don't get it.
Wasn't that a song back in the day?
Yeah.
You fancy, huh?
You fancy. Drake. Drake and T.I.
Was that Swiss Beats production?
Maybe. I
Yeah,
think so. Yeah. You're right.
See?
Right on there.
Now it's you dumb, huh?
Are you dumb,
Yeah.
huh?
You dumb, huh?
Are you dumb, huh? No, so great win for them. And, you know, the Eagles, if it weren't for the Eagles looking so damn good, I wouldn't have been so excited about the Commanders cashing my ticket because, you know, like now I feel like maybe we can hang with this team in the NFC East the way the Eagles played yesterday. So I just as a little background about the Eagles, just to set the table here. You come in, you've beaten Deshaun Watson and Daniel Jones the last 2 weeks. There are plenty of people that are looking at this team and saying, wait till you get to Cincinnati, myself included. You know, I was a little bit worried about this game because of the matchups, and T. Higgins didn't play. That was a big deal, right? But you think about the Eagles. When's the last time the Eagles went on the road and won a big game?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I guess it was Kansas City last year. You know?
Yeah.
Damn.
And of course, the slide kind of started with Nick John at the fans leaving Arrowhead. But I think you look at this game and you say, okay, if you don't believe in the Eagles, you just beat Jones and Watson, big whoop. Haven't won on the road in a while. Jalen Hurts, I read a statistic that he was like damn near undefeated to the under on the road in the last calendar year or something like that. And to me, that didn't bode well because I thought the points were going to come from Cincinnati. But I'll tell you what, over the last 2 weeks, they ran the ball 81 times. I don't think that's a typo. That's what I have here, 81 times the past 2 weeks. Drive one, they come out and they do more of the same, only this time they do it early in the game. And that's what we've been asking for. Didn't we ask for that last week? We asked for it last week.
Yep.
From my lips to God's ear, or maybe Dom's ear.
Yep.
Maybe Dom's listening to the program and he's like, yo, Nick, the numbers are here. But I mean, it really is on TD drives for the Eagles this year. Eagles 56% run, 44% pass. On punts, 41% run, 59% pass. Okay, weeks 1 through 6, 44-56 run pass split, 21 points a game. Week 7 to 8, 63-37 run pass with 32 points a game. And of course, I could round up to 33, do the math thing, but I won't. Okay, it's 32.5. Okay, it doesn't have to be sexy. It wasn't sexy yesterday. It was just a commitment. The sexiest thing in the world to me is committing to running the ball. That gets me. That is.
Are you like
that's
Nate?
my
Do you have
king.
a chub?
That's my king. You know what I mean? Over 60 minutes. Hey, I don't care if it's 3 yards a pop. I don't care if it's 4 yards a pop, because eventually those 3-4 yard gains in the fourth quarter with Saquon Barkley turn into 19, 20 behind Dickerson, or a big run that puts him down on the 1 yard line to ice the thing late, where he gets on the perimeter, stiff arms a guy, runs through a guy, tiptoes for 30 feet down the sideline. Those moments are why you went out and got this guy. I mean, he is special. He really is special. And he seems to be a special teammate and the type of guy that when you're feeding this dude, nobody in the offense is going to say, why aren't I getting the ball? That's Saquon Barkley. You know, that's the great thing about having a great back. Nobody outside is like, why are we giving the ball to this guy? Okay, that's Saquon Barkley. last time I checked, he's the most accomplished offensive player on the field. Okay, so I think I think it was just a great step in the right direction, and I think they committed more people to the protection in general. They simplified things, and from a pass pro standpoint, Fred Johnson, who I said this week, that's going to be the matchup of the game. Fred Johnson, guy who coming in for Jordan Mailata has got to deal with Trey Hendrickson, who's a really tough rusher. Now, Fred Johnson spent time in Cincinnati, I believe, so just to have a little background and knowing what this guy's about, but only giving up one pressure, not my wildest dreams. That was a great job. And I think when we talk about Jalen in the second half, 9 for 9 for 150, 16.7 yards per attempt, 155 rating, 2 touchdowns in the second half, scored on all 5 possessions. That's MVP caliber play. And you didn't have to ask him to do that much. He threw the ball 9 times. Okay, since the bye, 42 of 59 for 614 and 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Somebody fact check me on that because I almost can't believe it. I mean, this is efficiency. And so I would ask the Eagles to look halfway across the country at the Detroit Lions and say, what are they asking? Now, Jared's playing really well, and he's hitting some big throws over the middle of the field. And when he stands in the pocket, I said this last week, he is elite when it comes to throwing over the middle of the field, standing in there, delivering. But they don't ask him to do it 30 times a game. When things are right, they ask him to do it about 20 times a game. And so does that rain on your parade if your high-priced quarterback isn't throwing the ball 25, 30 times a game? You have to get real comfy with winning this way, because this is who your team is. If I'm the football coach of this team, I'm asking who my best players are. Yeah, A.J. Brown's great. Devontae's great when it's time to go play action in the second half and take your shots. That one drive's a thing of beauty. I'm not saying go away from the shots, but what I am saying is to get to those shots, you soften people up with the run game. Mm-hmm. I really believe it goes that way, not the other way.
Yep.
As a rusher, I used to think about power opens up speed, and it's not the same thing, but it kind of reminds me of the way the Eagles need to operate is power is going to open up speed for them. And I think Jalen Hurts looking at Detroit and Nick Sirianni looking at Detroit, we're not going to get to things the same way. We don't run all the same concepts. The players are different, but the emphasis on physicality and minimizing the superhuman things we're asking the quarterback to do, that is the way to go. And Jalen looks fresher. He really does. Running away from Myles Murphy down the red zone, he looked like he had a little bit of spark back. But I've spent enough time talking about the offense, guys. I want to talk about defense. They were shredded early in this game. Slay playing through the ball in the red zone on Burton ended up being basically the first time they got off the field. And thank God they did, because going down 14-3 or 14-0 or whatever it would have been hell for this team on the road. The big plays, man. The big plays. BG, our guy, on 3rd and 1, along with Nakobe Dean, and I think Milton Williams, who built a wall with him. But then on 4th and 1, the play of the game, Cooper DeJean, who ever since they put him in the lineup for Maddox, I mean, think of where this team might have been on defense if he'd have started the season out, okay? This is the defense fully formed, because now you've got a slot corner who can do things like on 4th and 1, hang in there with Jamar Chase. The motion starts the play. He effectively ran with a pivot route pre-snap and then fired on the flat. And it was a sure tackle.
Impressive thing. Yeah, that was impressive as hell. I mean, he's a great athlete. Like, we know that. But for him to sift through the trash on that too, you know what I mean? Like, they're running that route to try to pick him a little bit. And he matched him so well pre-snap that like, he wasn't even affected by it. And that's a small thing, dude. But when you're a rookie that doesn't have, like, you're coming back from an injury, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have a ton of in-game experience. Dude, that's fucking massive. That was a huge play.
But it's massive. It's
Great White Hope, baby. That's our guy, Chris. That is our fucking guy.
I did not think it was possible. Of course, they stuck him in the slot. Not really an outside corner. But that's what Riley Moss is for.
Right.
But I just look at that situation, and I'm saying, 3rd down, your 36-year-old dude makes a play. And then 4th down, your 23-year-old, 22-year-old dude makes a play. Okay? And it's the same thing with the pick, Rodgers, deflecting the ball to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. It's a young guy and a veteran making a play. The youth and the vets, man, when those guys are both guys you can depend on a defense, That's great. I thought Nolan Smith played great. Nolan Smith was sack. I've loved the way he set the edge all year long. The Georgia guys are playing better. Nakobe Dean really doing a great job filling in the run game. Really active. They like to send him a lot on early downs. They're getting a little trouble doing that, but I like them being a little bit more aggressive. And then Quinyon, and I got to look at I got to really watch the All-22 and look at the numbers to see if he was really lined up with Jamar Chase alone most of the game, but he was locked down, as far as the game went. And Quinyon Mitchell, he was really seatbelt. It was seatbelt status. Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell are two guys that weren't on the team last year. So credit to Howie Roseman, nail those guys in the draft, and a big credit to Nick Sirianni, man. Okay, listen, I'm passionate about this team. I'm going to give it to the coach when the coach doesn't do a good enough job. But I got to tell you, over the last 2 weeks, embracing their identity, kicking New York's ass in a division game, then going on the road, getting his team ready to play. In the second half, that first drive was methodical, okay? And the second drive of the second half was bombs over Baghdad. And it was like, we can win different ways, and we've got a game plan, and I'm going to have him ready to play. Good challenge flag. He was the guy. He was Johnny on the spot, ran all the way down the sideline to tell, who was it, that Rodgers, that he actually caused the pick. Guy didn't even know. He's mugging the crowd, but he doesn't know it's a pick. Nick Sirianni was all over it, and he just coaches with a lot of emotion. And if you can focus on your players, right? We love the emotion when it's focused on the players. It's just the extracurricular shit. And so this was a big moment for the team, but also for Nick coming out since he cut his damn hair.
You have to change your theory. 3-0 since
3-0
since the ball.
3-0. Well, usually it's something bad, but maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Do you have to change it to?
No, because, and this isn't me justifying the theory,
just fresh.
But sometimes if your back's against the wall, you got a choice. You're either going to fix it or you're not. And I think that the haircutting was a back against the wall moment. He wasn't doing good. Boy, thank God they won that Cleveland game, because things would be a lot worse now. 3-0. I got to give the guys credit. And for the Bengals, Nate.
Yeah, bring the grill. Bring out the grill.
I don't think they're cooked all the way, but open it up. They are officially on the grill.
Oh, man.
They are on the grill with the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, man.
Your Browns, my Bengals, both on the grill. They're just two hot dogs in the same grill.
But my hot dog,
whatever this is about to be is great.
My hot dog.
What about your hot dog?
It has new life.
Your hot dog has new life?
It has new life.
Okay.
New life.
Yeah.
And do I think we could run the table? It's possible.
Okay.
It's possible.
Okay.
Unwavering faith.
And that is one of the main reasons why, like my guy Bo just said, unwavering faith. And with someone like Jameis Winston now,
yeah,
as the quarterback,
as the grill,
it's like vibrating, because they know. Look,
Can you take your microphone off? Maybe
it's Jameis Winston. It's Jameis.
Golly,
he knows.
The grill is just.
It's Jameis is stuck in there.
Jameis is stuck in there. He wants to get out. Yeah,
put him there.
Vibration. Real vibration.
These things look delicious. Don't they?
I almost cooked like 2 extra ones.
To eat them?
Yeah. I was like, oh.
Nice little Monday morning.
No, but yeah, I just feel like the Browns, they have new life. It's a new team, new season. Okay. Nick Chubb just came back. They have a new quarterback.
I don't want to skip ahead to the Browns, but we are going to give them their big time due. And that was great.
Yeah, and then I realized this morning too, like as much as I want to say that the Browns aren't cooked, they are behind the Bengals in the standing.
And I'm really glad that you looked at that so you didn't walk into that trap. That's why I put both of them on the grill, because I just want to see how consistent you would be.
I'm trying to be. I'm being consistent.
I saw
you're not.
I'm not,
because you don't. Oh, do you really think the Bengals are cooked though? They're cooked. They're done.
No, I mean, no.
See, that's what I mean.
But you're going to be upset with me, because what they have to do is get to 9 or 10 wins. Let's pull up the schedule.
Yeah.
9 or 10 wins, and they're in the hunt. I know that right now they're playing like shit, and this is like, listen, I put them on the grill.
Okay, just admit this with me.
What?
And I know you're not crazy.
What?
They lose at home to Vegas next week. They're cooked.
Are they playing Vegas next week at home?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Cooked.
If they lose at home to Vegas, they're cooked.
Okay, cool.
But at the end of next week, and we said this, right? They're going to have Baltimore in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If they can get to the Baltimore game with a chance to get to 500, and look at what Baltimore looked like on defense yesterday in that game. You know what I mean? Like, nothing is out of the question for this team. They still got Dallas and Tennessee. They still get Cleveland. Again, even though they just finally slayed that dragon. Denver, Pittsburgh twice. Like, all their division games, there's a lot of them ahead of them. Some of these games are winnable. They got 3 wins right now. I mean, what do we think? Vegas win.
Burrow himself said they need to go 7-9 or 7-2.
7-2. Seen stranger things happen. So they're not flaming, you know.
I'll read them off. You guys tell me winner.
But the grill marks are definitely.
Ravens, Chargers, Steelers stretch is tough for them.
Exactly.
Sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
If they can come out of that at 2-1, if they can go 2-2 the next couple weeks, that'll put them at what?
2-2 would be 5-7.
5-7,
right? Or 5-6.
and then they got
5-7.
5-7. Then they got to go on like a run. Mm-hmm. You know, so hey, I'm not going to argue with you if you folks in the chat think they're cooked for real, and if you thought that for 3 weeks now.
Their last 5, they end Cowboys, Titans, Browns, Broncos, Steelers.
I mean, they're a loss away, like you said. If they lose next week, it is over. And pull up the Browns. Maybe we should just get to the Browns before we go back to the NFC West and finish up with the NFC. But the Browns, I don't know, man, because I come out of this game, they're a game behind the Bengals.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
So mathematically. But I will say this, with that defense, the way that defense plays, they can hang in there with almost anybody. The problem with them, and we'll get into it when we break the game down a little bit, is Jameis threw the ball to a lot of people in white jerseys. You know what I mean? I'm just being fair.
No, I get it.
I want to see if you're being fair.
I know, but he also had 300.
No question. I don't want to take anything away from them or that team. And by the way,
but we are, me as a Jameis
Bengals or Browns over team total, check.
Yeah.
Browns plus 7.5, check.
Yeah.
So like we're all on the Browns side here.
But like people,
nothing to root against anymore.
If you ever watch Jameis, like you get that with Jameis. Like you get the good with the bad. Like he had a great season. Exactly. Bo knows it. He had a famous season where he went 30 for 30. Like it's the good with the bad. He's not that different. But with a team like that, that's better than what you've been doing. And
no question.
I just feel like at this point in the
totally
season,
different.
like that gives you, that gives you life in the locker room. That gives you life.
Totally.
For sure.
Totally. We'll get there. I want to get to because we just basically hit the NFC East. And
we want to hear from BetMGM.
Oh, I want to.
Our
Do you want me to talk about my friends first?
Yes.
You know we got the Cowboys still. Okay. As you know, we've teamed up with BetMGM. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all our picks, and we'll have special offers for you listeners each week. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code GREENLIGHT, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. Number 1, download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code GREENLIGHT. Number 2, deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. Number 3, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use bonus code GREENLIGHT when you sign up. Make sure you do that. Okay? So let's talk about the basement dweller in the NFC East. One of the basement dwellers. Yeah.
Let's talk about these nuts.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
How about them Cowboys?
Oh my goodness.
Wait, what about these nuts?
You didn't see that video, Trey?
Of what?
Trayvon? Diggs.
Hold that up.
I heard what he said to the reporter. Did he say D's nuts?
He was like, "Let's talk about how about we talk about these nuts?" Like the reporter was like,
he said that
at the end. The reporter was like, "Hey, we could just talk about while he's walking away."
You know what my take on that play is? I actually don't think that was poor effort. I watched that play. I really don't. Bro, you could find that a lot on the field. I'm not going to jump on that play alone. Like, that play is not why the Cowboys aren't winning.
Oh, no.
I actually looked at that play. I mean, when you watch that play, he makes the tackle at the pylon. He's changing speeds to adjust his angle, in my opinion. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt there. And I understand why he's upset, but you can't do all that. Can't do all that.
That makes you look guilty.
The reporter was.
Yeah.
The reporter looked so happy. Like,
yeah.
Oh, he wasn't even nervous.
Pleasing.
He was hyped. He was hyped.
So pleased. He was like, "Oh, I'm getting my clicks. I'm getting my views. I'm getting everything I want, baby." It's just,
bro. You see that play.
so
5-7 times a game. You see people changing speeds to adjust to an angle.
That's a change of speed loaf.
I understand, but sometimes if he runs as fast as he can, then this guy cuts underneath.
I get it.
You get what I'm saying?
I absolutely.
So all I'm saying is it's not just a total loaf. Like I've seen total loafs.
No,
like,
yeah, I'm not
Greg
saying
Williams
that.
used to call loafers traders. He used to be like, you're a fucking trader on Monday. So I am not into the loafing. Yeah, he come in and be like,
coaches there loafing.
You play for the other team.
Yeah, loafing is bad, bro.
You think that's harsh?
We got fined,
bro. That's not
we
even
had
harsh
low
compared to
fines.
what.
No, not like harsh in a over the line kind of way. Just like, damn, that's a fucking call out. That'll make you.
Make you feel bad. Because that's really what it is with the loafing.
Can you pull that play up? Does anybody have that play? I mean, we can't watch plays, but.
The only thing
I want you to imagine something.
The only thing I can tape for him is that like maybe he didn't realize when.
Let's recreate it.
Ever since the NFL called the NFL out on concussions, they were like, you can't use NFL film on the podcast anymore. I can tell by the uneasy laughter that you guys agree.
Just recreate the exact play in Madden. Perfect loophole.
I'm just gonna keep calling the NFL out until we get some film capabilities on this show. But I did not think that was like alone the play. Bo, you looked at the run game. What'd you see when you looked at San Francisco's run game?
Well, okay. First of all, let's start this off by saying the Cowboys are not good against the run. All right. I think they're dead last in defensive run efficiency, which is not too surprising given their performance against the 49ers in Sunday Night Football. And the 49ers have a good run game. All right. I love watching Kyle Shanahan's run game. It's a major staple of his offense, of his coaching tree. And one thing I thought was very interesting is Brock Purdy had 56 yards rushing. All right. The Cowboys offense had 56 yards rushing also.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But they were getting it without a lot of their key guys. The Niners have had a lot of injuries. You know, the Cowboys have injuries defensively as well. They're missing their star stud, probably one of the best defensive players in the NFL, in Parsons. But to me, that's no excuse. I mean, they ran a lot of. The thing I love about the Niners and their run game, Chris, is they are so versatile out of 21 personnel, right? So they have Juszczyk. We heard so much about goddamn fucking National Tight End Day.
Oh, I'm so tired of that. So
seriously,
tired.
Like we fucking get it.
We get it, bro. We get it.
Shout out to the tight ends.
That's
good job.
Is it? Then maybe it is. I'm hating.
That's hate.
Because we don't have a national pass rusher day.
But look, why don't you make it up?
Where's my national first and second down run defender?
Why don't we? Exactly all we have to do is try to make it up, and if it gets some buzz, they're gonna go with it.
I know, but it's just gotten to the point where coaches in the NFL are like, we got to feed this guy. It's National Tight Ends Day.
But it worked.
Yeah.
I guess so. It did work.
It worked.
It did work.
The most ever, 177 receptions by a single position is like the most ever in NFL history, like in a single day.
I know, but that's so, bro. That's crazy to me.
Why?
You know what I mean? Like,
what does Stanford C say? Tight ends always open.
Are we gonna throw to Lab McConkey 100 times on like Irish Heritage Day? like, what are we doing, bro? Like, we have to pacify George Kittle, and I love George Kittle. I love George. He gave me a dip this summer at the Bussin' with the Boys.
Yeah, he did.
He gave me a little Kodiak. That's my guy. But I still.
All it takes to win you over.
Yeah, that's my boy for that. He was my boy for that.
Chris didn't leave the pool for anything but George Kittle giving him a dip.
Hey, I was in that pool. People were still playing those stupid beer games. And they were like, oh, Chris wasn't very good. I'm like, bro, like, I am good. I'm in the pool. You guys are still doing content for Bussin' with the Boys. I'm in the fucking pool, and I'm sitting on the side, and me and Kittle are packing a dip. What do you think sounds better? I love Kittle. But damn, if they aren't forcing these guys the ball just to pacify them on tight ends day. That's all I'm saying.
But if that's the case, shouldn't D coordinators be more aware?
Yeah, they maybe should. They should be more aware.
It's not a secret.
Get a calendar, bro. It's National Tight Ends Day. It's National Attached Receiver Day, because that's what it is now. I'd be okay if it was like if every tight end was like George Kittle. But they don't even block anymore.
And I don't want to put this to go backwards, but it's even sickening more that the Bears, they have a tight end like Cole Kmet and National Tight End Day. Give him that handoff.
Yeah.
Give him that handoff, bro. Of all people, give him that handoff. But I don't want to. Sorry.
Go ahead, Bo. I'm so sorry.
Keep rolling on 49ers.
Yeah, their run
Bo's
game.
gonna
Yeah,
jump-
you talk about their versatility out of 21.
Bo's going to jump back in a second. But what did you guys see from?
Oh, well, what I saw is like, and Bo mentioned it. Hey, Micah Parsons' Cowboys are banged up and all that, but like so are the Niners. Like the Niners are so banged up. Mason exited. D Winters had a concussion. Debo had a rib injury, and thank goodness they're going to the bye in general. But also, you saw this last night. You heard them talking about the record that Shanahan has put together post-bye over the last couple of years. Like San Francisco is a different team. So should we be afraid of San Francisco? I do think so. And I picked
16-2.
Yeah, 16-2 the last couple of years after the bye. And I did pick Seattle to win that division, not because I think Seattle's a great team. I think because I thought there'd be a regression, at least at the top with San Francisco. It's just a long time to be on top. You know, riding that hamster wheel, playing into February every year. The injuries have caught up with them this year. Now, can they get it back together? And one big one's Christian McCaffrey, who's walking around on the sidelines, kind of Where's Waldo situation. You'll see him in some shots, and you'll remember that, holy shit, if he ever comes back, this team is scary.
Crazy. And the kid who got shot, I guess he's good, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pearsall.
Yeah.
Like, he's good.
Yeah, no question. No question. I mean, they need him to be good. And I'll tell you another thing they need, and Bo mentioned this, Purdy over 50 yards rushing. They need to make Purdy part of their rushing offense. And I don't mean design plays, but you need to encourage him.
Keep the defense honest.
When you get man or when the zones expand and the rush lanes aren't great, he is really good at picking up a quick 12.
Yep.
I mean, he's got a very good feel as a kind of a scrambler. So I would encourage him. We have lost Bo, by the way, people at home.
Yeah.
Somebody said in the group chat, don't go to Bo. We have lost Bo. So we're trying to get him back in the show. Listen, I thought Bosa did a great job of building a wall all night.
Yep.
Now, Garendo. What? I'm not going to go into any other detail on that.
That was a good one.
The Garendo stood in nicely, but I will say this about Garendo. I mean, he made them pay that tariff. Really. Whenever it was time to drop back to pass, he was like 400%. Only, anyways, Garendo.
Trickled down to the rest of the defense at least.
Which is not usually the case. All right. So Garendo stood in nicely. I like Garendo, but he's not a great pass protector. Okay. I do think Mason is still a big part of this offense. You know, he's going to be a guy that's got to carry some of the load over the next. Garendo does, but Mason, they need him back. They need him healthy.
Who's the next running back up for them? Because I just respect that.
Somebody
honestly,
else who's going to be famous in a couple weeks.
That's what I was about to say. I just respect, honestly, that like teams and coaches that like really can like plug and play, and you build your team the right way, the same kind of style or whatever it is. The fact that every time we see the 49ers play, you might not know who's running the ball, but it's just chunks in yards. Yeah. And then and the fact that they can keep doing that is special. Like when there's a bunch of teams that just struggle, like I mean like the Cowboys, like who just can't get a run game going for anything.
Yeah, it's a great scheme. It's a great scheme. It also, if you have Christian McCaffrey, it's even better because he now becomes part of the passing game.
Yep.
And we talk about that all the time. But, you know, losing Ayuk, now Pearsall's got to step up. I thought Dak, it's so funny because, like, Dak struggles, and then, like, it gets into garbage time, and then he, like, racks up, and then at the end of the game, like, it got close again, and he's just not. He's not there. So
his teammates sold him out. Not
I feel bad for Dak. Can I say that? I feel bad for Dak. Some people are going to say, how can you feel bad for a guy with all this money? I get it. Y'all will never feel bad for a guy with all that money.
He just got engaged.
That has the money to, like, demo a house that big. Just, like, but I look at Dak and I'm like, bro, he's played his whole career here, and it's the Cowboys. Like, it's just played out exactly like you would figure with the Cowboys. And I do think he's a damn good quarterback. I just feel like at some point here, you're going to look up and be like, damn, it's over. Like, and we could never get it together around him because this team's not very good. They're just not very good.
But isn't that the story if you really think about it for most quarterbacks places?
Yeah. A lot of players.
Like, yeah.
A lot of players, and there's a lot of people that we don't feel bad for because we're not paying attention. But as far as quarterbacks go, I like Dak the guy. And I think he's a really good player. It's just he is not good enough to bring this team. I mean, I want to say he's not good enough to play them in the playoffs. I think they're cooked. I really do. And next week, who do they play next week? They play golly, look at the Cowboys schedule. This is a fun exercise.
No, it goes to show
They
you.
play Atlanta, who's been putting up 50 points a game. Then they play Philly. Then they play Houston. Then they play Washington.
No,
This could be like, are the Cowboys sellers?
Yeah.
They should.
Yeah.
Are the Cowboys sellers?
Yeah, soon.
And who?
And this is funny too, thinking about it. Off season.
Micah Parsons.
Think about Zeke Elliott wanting to play with his friend on a terrible team.
Yeah.
Adams want to
Would
go
you
play
rather
with,
be
want to
Adams
go
or
want to go
Zeke?
play. You want to go play with your friend
Yeah.
on a terrible
But
team.
at least I think Zeke is back in Dallas where he can make a bunch of money off the field. He knows the area. They love him there. Even if he's cooked.
Yeah,
they love him there.
Yeah.
He had a lot of great years there. Devontae Adams doing cardio in New York, bro. Like for a 2 and
I said it. It was mental. The fact that he even thought about going back.
it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Crazy.
And Bo's not back. He's still frozen, smiling. But as he put it, the Niners are a very fun team to watch with their versatility and their run game. And another thing he pointed out is a team we're going to talk about in a second. The Cardinals and the Dolphins played. Okay. The Dolphins, and he was going to talk about their run game, how similar it can be to San Francisco's, how versatile they are with Ingold in the fold and the whole thing. And I think when Tua came back, the point he was going to make was Tua opens a lot in the run game for them.
Yeah.
You know, and the passing game, I thought, to be fair to Tua, I thought he played one of his best games in a while. Now, the bar wasn't high, but I thought he played one of his best games in a while, and I'm really happy that he's back and healthy.
Yeah.
And, you know, like for a lot of people, they never wanted to see him come back. I get it. But at some point, the player decides he wants to take on the risk. The player comes back. You can only hope they just stay upright and healthy. And he slid, and he got out of trouble. And I thought he was kind of mobile for Tua yesterday. And, yeah, did he miss some balls? Absolutely. Did he almost throw the ball to Kaiser White like the second? I mean, there were not great moments, but I thought overall he played pretty well. Now, the question is for this Dolphins team, that would have been good enough to win a couple years ago. I don't think the team's that good anymore. I just don't think the team's that good anymore. I think the defense plays pretty well. I think the offense is still – they can still score points on bad defenses. But a little secret about the Arizona Cardinals defense, they don't have a lot of dudes on that side of the ball. So, you know, if 27 points, 28 points isn't enough, I do have to look at the offense and say we just got outscored by Kyler Murray. And guess what Kyler Murray didn't have? A run game. If you'd have told me they were going to go down there and Kyler Murray was going to beat them with no run game because the Dolphins did a good job there, I would have said, I don't know about that. But they did a really good job in spots. He had some big throws. I mean, I can't name you all of them. Or maybe I can if I find my damn notes. Holy shit, though.
Harrison and McBride, both over 100 yards receiving.
The red zone magic, you know, Jalen Ramsey coming off the edge, there's no good angle on him, you know? Like, he's a free runner. He's bailing out. Like, that's a really tough tackle. It's even harder on Kyler Murray. You know, Wilson's hiding back there in the corner of the end zone. Like, when you get in the red zone, one thing I'll say about Miami, they are apprehensive to draw back and just throw the ball in the red zone. I think they know the guy's limitations a little bit.
Yeah.
And if it's not a quick hitter or screen out on the perimeter and they scored on one of those, you know, dump down screens, they're a little bit apprehensive. Kyler Murray in the red zone, he can be the offense, you know, because he can create. And Marvin Harrison Jr., who we're riding this wave of like reactive bullshit on him where it was like, hey, week one, he didn't run fast enough. Hey, he was 16 miles an hour. He must be a bust. And then he was the greatest player in the world. And then I was reading that he might have been a bust again. And then yesterday, for him to score that touchdown on Jalen Ramsey and have some of the moments he had, I mean, Kyler made some magical throws to him. 3rd and 4 to Marvin Harrison Jr. With 20 in his face. I mean, that's like as good a throw as I saw all day. I mean, it's just like Kyler does that thing where he falls on the ground and he doesn't even see where he's throwing it.
Yeah.
He just knows where the leverage is, and he puts that ball out there with enough touch to a big target like Marvin Harrison Jr. That's what gives this offense another dimension, is saying when he can throw those 50-50 balls, he's not throwing them to Wilson now, and if it's not McBride, he's got this big target outside. I think the Cardinals, coming off this 2-week span where they beat the Chargers, who are a good team, and they go beat Miami, who has not played like a good team but is a tough out, with their run game and the whole thing. Cardinals have to feel very good about themselves. We're talking about the NFC West.
Minus 400 right now.
We're talking about the NFC West.
Or sorry, plus 400.
I was going to say, I might play that, because, this division seems to be a division where it's like, who's the best quarterback in the division week in and week out? Geno's up and down.
Yeah.
Up and down. Purdy has been up and down because of the weapons. Kyler has kept them in some games. Like, Kyler has also not played great in some spots, but he's played pretty good football this year. And the defense is just, with the great SAT word you use, bereft of talent.
Yes.
Okay? But if they can score with people, and I think Gannon's done a good job of keeping that unit playing scrappy.
Right.
Just scrappy enough to be in games.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying they're going to the bowl, but they have a chance to win the division. Right now they're 4-4 sitting on top of it with San Francisco.
And then the Rams obviously with Stafford, but they have a lot of questions defensively.
And the Rams woke up a couple days ago thinking, hey, we were thinking about shipping Cooper Kupp out of here, thinking about selling. We're 3-4 now.
Right.
Came back.
With what we've done in the division late in the season, like making runs late in the – like every team in this division feels like they can win it, which is a lot of fun. Now, Seattle, it depends – it depends on the week, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to talk about the Bills in a second here, but to wrap up the NFC West, they got down. They were like the Keystone Cops in the low red. Like, it was crazy, dude. It was nuts, the things they were doing. They were like first and goal on the 2, and they end up 3rd and 27 on the 27.
Oh my God.
And then on one play, Geno gets stepped on and falls over. And then the game's over because the Bills are just that much better right now. But the Seahawks are one of the hardest teams to figure out in the league. I'm sure Seahawks fans will tell you, hey, Schneider has fucked the roster up, yada, yada, yada. But they do have enough pieces that I would think they'd be consistently better.
Oh, yeah.
But the variability on this team is crazy.
They're so boom bust. They're almost like they flirt with like DMB lists. Just
Yeah,
because you have no
flirt.
idea what you're betting.
They flirt with
every
the
week. I have no idea.
Well, definitely with DK down, they're DMB.
Yeah,
This is why
sure.
I took the other side of that thing. So,
Yep.
But I just wanted to say, like, Cardinals, low-key, really good week here. Short week, coming off a physical game against the Chargers. Physical game. To hit the road and go to Miami where it's hot, I assume, and you're tired and the whole thing. To come out with a win where you don't have a run game and you find a way to do it anyways, really good. And again, I want to say this one more time for the Tua fans in here. I thought he played well. I thought he played well overall. And I got a message from one of my good friends. Well, I don't know the guy, but we DM about the Dolphins sometimes. He's been on my head since I was on the other side of this thing a couple years ago. And he hadn't hit me up in approximately like 6 weeks. And in the first quarter, he was like, y'all better give my man some respect. Nobody elevates. There's only a handful of guys on the planet that elevate their team the way this guy did. And what did I do? I said, this is a little early for that text, buddy. Little early for that message.
Fucking back, Chris.
He's back.
Just like
Fins
he's
up.
back. What's up, boys? No guardian cap. Had a little difficulties there. Had to, fix some tech stuff, but I'm back. Did you talk about how Tua elevates the run game for the Dolphins at all, Chris? Because that was something I was looking at. I'd love to talk about that briefly.
What's the Kyler take, though, Robert Brown? Said stop it with the Kyler take. No, I will. But I'm just reading the chat. I want to keep the chat involved. Stop it with the Kyler take to beat a bad Miami team. Cardinals, the very definition week to week because Kyler is indifferent about football as he is physically talented. Well, you got a lot of English on that take, Robert Brown. Like, I can tell it's not just about the football. I think Kyler's played well this year. I think objectively, if you're watching the games, which, hey, if you've watched every Cardinals game, be my guest. But I know somebody on this set who has, and I think he's played pretty well. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the other quarterbacks in the NFC West, outside of Matt Stafford, can you really say with authority that he can't make a case for being the hottest quarterback in the NFC West right now?
Right.
I'm not saying it's scorching hot. I'm not saying they're putting up 50 points a game, but he's played pretty well.
Before Sunday, maybe.
Huh?
Geno before the Bills game, but
well, you caught him on a dome week where he was just like, and DK's down right now, so those teams are dealing with injuries the whole thing.
Are you afraid of the Call of Duty curse for Kyler?
Oh, it is coming out. I am a little bit. I'm
Black
a little
Ops
afraid.
6.
To Robert's point, what did Robert say? He said he doesn't care about football. We'll see, Robert. I don't know if he plays well down the stretch this year. Will you come off of that take that he doesn't care about football? I also think sometimes it's just, look how great Cliff's been in Washington. Like sometimes the fit is better. Mm-hmm. I don't think the fit was great with Cliff. And another thing about, Cliff is late in seasons, his offenses have cooled. And, part of that's been Kyler Murray and part of that's been the scheme. So something to look out for in Washington. I don't think it happens. And Petzing's done a pretty nice job in Arizona. So where are we next?
We are going to Atlanta. Falcons.
Oh, Atlanta. The Falcons, man.
Walk in your trap, take over your trap.
They really did. They walked into the trap on Creamsicle Day and took over the trap. The Falcons have not got enough credit on this show because I'll admit it, I have a confirmation bias. I thought the Bucs were the best team in the NFC South. I still think if they have Evans and Godwin, they could win the NFC South, but I don't think that's going to happen now, especially after you get swept by Atlanta. And I'm starting to see what the product that defense is putting on the field. When Winfield comes back, you think they'd be better. Kirk threw for a mile yesterday, regardless, bunch of big plays. It's not a good matchup for you. That's evident to me. And, although the Falcons are probably anchored in January by the fact they can't rush the passer, I do think that anchors you. Mm-hmm. They do look like the team, if I'm being honest, that could probably win the South. Now, that's not me tucking tail on a take. I still believe if the Bucs are healthy, they've got a chance to win that division, but the Falcons have gone out there.
I don't know if we should sleep on the Bucs, Chris. I gotta say, obviously you get an emotional hangover losing Chris Godwin the way you did, losing Mike Evans. Those are the two best players on your team. Offensively, I was actually really impressed with the way they came out. Like, they had a turnover early, but they came out and they I think Liam Cohen's smart, man. I
do too. I like him.
They were committed to running the ball. Their run game has been much improved this season. I really like Bucky Irving. I like White. I like Tucker also. I'm very pleased with Tucker. But you could tell that they knew that they don't have their two biggest offensive weapons, and they ground the ball for 14 or 15 plays on their second offensive series, move the ball to their running backs out of the backfield, and then Kate Otten on fucking National Tight End Day. They know what they are without those guys. I think the biggest disappointment for me is just watching the Bucs defense get 0 sacks on a pretty immobile Kirk Cousins. I don't know if you saw that one broken play where I think they were throwing a swing pass or a screen or something like that, and the timing was off to Drake London. And Kirk had to shelf the ball and run it the opposite direction. And I was watching this holy fuck, this is the slowest quarterback in.
Was that the game sealing, basically the game sealing scramble, or was that late in the game?
No, this was, but on that one too. Kirk is not moving well.
I'm jogging, everybody. I'm jogging. Whatever he says in the fucking. Look at me, I'm jogging.
Yeah, but I think the Bucs defensively is a little bit where I was disappointed. I've been somewhat impressed with the Falcons.
Yeah.
But they just didn't do well. And then Baker, against cover 2, he keeps forcing the ball. And he's thrown 2 or 3 picks on the same exact cover 2, trying to force it into that hole. I think he had one against the Broncos, if you remember that, Cowboy. And I don't think about that too after the game. Exactly. But it's if they just protect the ball a little bit better, they win this game. I mean,
I understand,
even without their two best players.
I understand, but those two best players are not coming back for a little bit. Mike Evans is going to be out for a little bit, and Godwin being out's a big deal. I just worry about.
Points.
I'm just trying to be honest. I'm just trying to be fair. I don't want to be the take anchor guy that's like, hey, because I picked the Bucs to win the South. What I'm seeing over the last 2 weeks, and really like including now, Winfield was down in that game on Monday night or whatever Thursday night, but they have not looked quite the same since those receivers went down. And as good as I think they were, I'm just telling you, I think they win that Ravens game if Evans comes down with that touchdown and they're up in that game. I think it's a totally different game, but they were shell-shocked. And then ultimately this week, it's a big adjustment to have to play without those two guys. And I'll just say this. Kyle Pitts looked like the guy they want him to be yesterday. And I guess Falcons fans understand that, like, the twist of irony here is like that on his biggest day, he also probably should have. He should have been not the hero, the GOAT, because honestly, I think he fumbled that thing before the goal line, but they didn't really have a great angle. You know, and I'm not saying like make an excuse for the Bucs. That is just a deal where Kyle Pitts has got to tuck that ball away. But I will say, like, immediately 4th and 3 going to him, beating man coverage, running away from little guys on the second touchdown. Winfield doesn't quit, but like this is who he can be, you know. And you know, we mentioned Godwin and Evans, Jamel Dean, who you mentioned this morning.
I think, and to your point, Bo, about the defense, it's like I think the offense showed yesterday to an extent they can find ways to overcome those key injuries offensively. But Jamel Dean, especially the last couple weeks, going back to Baltimore too, they've really missed him. And I think until you have him back in the lineup, it's hard to see a path for them without all these guys in the picture.
If they were playing defense like they played in years past, I would say, this team could win the West, but it's just going to be hard. And I like the run game.
They
I
need
like
a rusher, man.
They need a pass
They
rusher.
need an edge rusher bad. Like Yaya is their best edge rusher. I think he got injured yesterday. But, like, you're just not seeing a ton of production from, like, I love Anthony Nelson. Like, he's not really producing as much rushing the edge. Vita, it's just hard because he's dealing with a couple of guys in the middle every time. Defensively, like, you'd like to see him get a lot more pressure. But going back to their offense, bro, it's clear they're trying. Like, you see the fake punt attempt. Like, they understand that they need to do different things to keep drives going. I thought it was an awful fake punt attempt. Like, just from a look standpoint, I don't know why you would not kill that or just like fucking punt it. But like, it's clear. I think like they understand that they're missing their two guys they're trying to make up for, which is good. I just think they need more defensively.
Yeah, and now the Falcons are 4-0 against the NFC South. So like they've got a commanding lead in the South, and that way, like, it's going to be hard if it comes down to a tie. You know, they've been running roughshod through the division, and I think Cousins has been. Listen, one of the reasons I like the Penix signing was because, and I said this again, like, I don't think anybody's going to say this team was, if they lose in the wild card this year or something like that, or if they win or lose in the divisional round, I don't think anybody's going to say, man, Atlanta was a player away. You know, I don't think Atlanta is a player away from being a Super Bowl team. Like, things can happen in the playoffs, and I'm not trying to anchor a team's ceiling in Week 8, but I am saying without the pass rush and with some of the – now, Jesse Bates, we were talking about that defense, is an absolute football player and probably one of the best free agent signings over the past couple of years on the defensive side of the ball for a defense. But I do think that, like, the reason I don't mind the Penix pick is I don't think they would have been able to replace that pick with something where all of a sudden you've got it. Like Jared Verse, maybe. I don't think so. I mean, like, you know, Latu, he hasn't set the world on fire.
Right.
You know, like, I don't know if there was that player that would change the whole game for you. Because the offensive line, correct me if I'm wrong, is not a huge problem. You know, the wide receiver room has been fine. But they've racked up a lot of yards through the air, so that's not really anchoring them. They got two good running backs. I mean, we love the safeties. A.J. Terrell, they got him locked up, the whole thing. I just don't know that replacing what they did with Penix would have been enough to get them to where you're like, damn, that's one of the best 2-3 teams in the NFC. Now, they could go on a run, but no matter what happens, this guy Penix is just sitting there and learning. And he's learning from a good veteran who's playing good football, and the team doesn't suck, and they haven't had to go to him yet. So I think so far, all good for the Falcons, even though a lot of these games are a grind. You can see it.
And
You know,
You talk about their standing in the NFC South. They've got the Cowboys, then the Saints, and the Bucks have the Chiefs, then the 49ers the next 2 weeks. So you talk about getting another 2 games on the Bucks and being clear as you get to the back half of the schedule for everybody. It looks like the Falcons are setting up for that.
So the Falcons are setting up for a little run here, and they've got a good little distance between them and the rest of the division just by virtue of the way they played these divisional games, in my opinion. So the Packers, another team in the NFC that got a big win, like one that, a game that people weren't watching maybe as closely, but I thought just a gritty win for them. We'll see what the Jordan Love injury is.
The MRI came back. Good news, strained groin.
Which sucks.
Major.
Strained groin sucks. Used to deal with strained groin all the time. That was my thing, like strained groin. And, you can try to play with it, and it doesn't limit you in a lot of situations. But if you're trying to get some, like, torque, were you playing with your groin? You think about that? But if you try to get torque as a passer, I would imagine, that really does bother you.
Yeah.
And he gutted it out and made some really nice throws. But I just think it comes down to there's a moment in this game where the Jags go up 17-13, and Malik Willis has to enter the game. They score back-to-back touchdowns, and they go up 27-17 before you know it. And Cooper, who we've talked about as being a real plus for them defensively, coming in, taking the ball off, and giving you a short field to work with when you absolutely needed it. That was the time to make a play. They made the play, and I think the Packers are just really a gutsy team. You talk about like the way they jumped back out in front, or the way they scored that first touchdown that I was talking about is Jacobs, 30, 40 yards. Like, they have a big play running back. They have explosives that they can access in the pass game. They have a very capable backup quarterback who they picked up on the street in camp. Like, and he was so raw. They were like, I cannot believe how raw this guy is. It was like he wasn't coached. Like, seriously. Like, it was like he wasn't coached in Tennessee. But it also makes it all the more exciting when you can actually mold this ball of clay, and all of a sudden he can turn into the guy that at the end of the season, if you're playing a home playoff game, you don't get there without Malik Willis.
And Matt Roth in the chat just had a great point. He said Malik Willis for 6th man or 12th man of the year, if that was an award.
No question.
Yeah.
So Jags, we've talked about them, already cooked. This would have been a game. They've got a couple of these games here where you'd be like, man, they could be alive somehow. They just keep dropping these games. They're inventing new ways to lose games. And that's just a tough one. I don't want to get too much in that game because although it was a high-scoring, fun game, consequentially, it's just the Packers keeping on the right track and doing what they've done all year, which is find ways to win. I mean, finding ways to win.
Yep.
Lions, the other team lurking. We've talked about all these NFC teams. The Lions being the presumptive best team in the NFC. It's hard to argue with that. I mean, you talk about inventing new ways to win. When you watch the all 22 of this game, you were like, "Hey, where are the plays that are missing? Why do the Lions keep starting their drives inside the 20-yard line?" So the Titans helped them out, Like, you talk about the big returns they had in this game. Khalif Raymond, who had 190 yards in returns, he had a huge third quarter last week. He's played a huge role in this team's success lately. Dorsey had a big kickoff return. Offense 5 of 5 in the red zone. We turn on this tape. I'm looking at Frank Ragnow pushing Sweat out of the way. I'm watching, as I call him, Rigatoni Sewell, because Penne, the holes are this big. Rigatoni is like, it's like this. These are the size holes he's putting on the screen, and he was moving Jeffrey Simmons. I mean, he put Jeffrey Simmons on public transportation. I have not seen Jeffrey Simmons ride the bus before. 6 yards. Like, this is a front
into the end zone,
into the end zone, bro. So this is a front that just plays with an attitude. It's a team that plays with an attitude. And you talk about a hangover. You thought they'd be hungover, right? We keep saying, like, oh, I don't know, let down. But Dan Campbell's doing such a great job of saying, like, hey, no, we give teams the hangover. We don't get hangovers. You know what I mean?
We stay drinking.
We hair the dog every week. Trick plays, turnovers, the whole thing. 4 out of 5 first half touchdowns started in the red zone. And the Gibbs 70-yard touchdown run, it's one bad angle from Diggs. It's one backer who just can't get over the top. That's how dangerous this team is every down that guy's in the game. They had more points than offensive plays. This is just like a tour de force.
Yeah.
You know, it's just and they don't have to beat you the same way every week.
Over the last 5 weeks, I think Goff has 19 incompletions, and the Lions' offense has 24 touchdowns. And you talk about Khalif Raymond, some guys who were battling on other rosters might have gotten cut, and now they're finding a spot on the Lions. And Nate, I think you brought it up a couple of weeks ago. They put in backups. They're getting everything they can out of guys who are maybe second string or who are on less impactful positions across.
They play their ass off.
Ass off.
They all play their ass off, and that's it's a Dan Campbell effect. I mean, it's not just it's the Brad Holmes effect, bringing in the right kind of guys. Find me a player on that team that makes it about them.
Mm-hmm.
What is the line on the? Because they're going to Lambeau, right, this weekend. What's the line on that game?
That's a good question.
Big game in the NFC
Guess
North.
it, guys. Guess
That's a 425
in Green Bay.
I'm gonna say Lions
plus.
Well, I'm gonna say Lions plus 2.5 right now because of the injury,
+5
or minus 2.5. I mean,
Minus
I'm
5.
gonna say -6.
Lions -3, which feels about right.
Yeah, that feels right because they're hedging that injury. That game gets closer to a pick 'em if Love's up. But I think either way, the Lions are probably thought of to be the better team now.
So
it's going to be, I think Green Bay's probably thinking, hey, the explosives are going to be there, bro, against this secondary. At least the flags, at least the easy 15-yarders or the DPIs or the holds and I think what you're looking at if you're Green Bay is saying like, hey, they're not going to have the rushers we expected them to have because Aiden's down. Whoever it is back there is going to have time. But obviously the game changes if Malik Willis is the quarterback. So that's going to be a damn good game.
And on the other side,
Oh, and it's a weather game. Camus said this golf weather game. I didn't say that. You said it. But I don't know that the weather's turning yet. What's the weather supposed to be this week in Green Bay? Can the weatherman get on that?
I don't know. But on the other hand, on the other side, we bet heavy Patriots next week then?
Who they play?
Titans.
Oh, yeah, because of the hangover. Put that in right now.
And
Put that in right now because that team's selling, by the way. Another thing about picking a big line this time of year is it's like the reason Detroit was a good play yesterday was because a team like Tennessee, you're getting them before you really know where the floor is. Like you could know that like around the trade deadline in the NFL.
Easiest bet all week.
The Broncos, another one yesterday. That was another big line that covered. Tennessee, big line that covered. The teams that are out of it and are starting to sell pieces like the bottom can be way down there. So.
And we mentioned this on Friday's show, but there were two teams this week that had a Lions hangover game. The Cowboys as well, because they were technically they had a bye. They played the Lions going into their bye.
Yeah.
So they
2-day hangover.
we had a double hangover this week.
Double hangover.
Double.
It just the hits keep coming.
And it will be raining in Green Bay.
Will it?
Well, 70% chance.
If it's cold enough, might get some sleep.
Sure.
Malik Willis starts.
Night game or
It's 425.
Watch Malik Willis start and the line go up, and I'll take the Packers in that situation to cover.
Yeah.
Because I do think the Packers is a tough spot, and that they'll be ready for it, even if they don't have their guy.
Yeah.
I wonder what the line goes to though. If
It'll be like the Colts game. They ran the ball 50 times.
50 times, dude. I'm not saying they'll be able to do that on Lions.
Yeah, I know.
Lions. Again, Lions.
That'll be Kenny Clark National Nose Guard Appreciation Day.
Yeah.
Hey, Lions 2 TDs for tight ends on y'all's favorite holiday.
We need to have a national chain gang appreciation day.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are really
Yeah, those
going
guys are
through it.
battling this season.
Seriously. Can we
On that day, we'll see like the guys actually stop before they run into it.
Oh, yeah. We got to actually care. We got to care. And
they'll help them up.
The lady state trooper in Tampa. What do you say?
Do a little moment of silence for all the guys that have been injured on the chain.
We need to send them all a T-shirt. You know what I mean? They're probably still in the hospital. Most of them are like 70 years old.
Helmet and shoulder pads, bro.
Finally saw one bounce back up this weekend.
Yeah, I know.
Quickly.
Hey guys, I'm going to take a piss break. The chat can ask questions and we'll answer them when I get back in.
When you get back, we're gonna hit the Browns.
The Browns. We'll finally get to the
Browns.
Browns. Yeah.
Yeah. Nate, what bets did we hit this weekend? What was your biggest bet that you were stoked about?
I was stoked about. I made a Yankee bet, which is a 4-pick parlay where you only need 2 picks to win money, and I won 2 picks. I forget the touchdowns that I need. I can go back, but I was waiting on one more touchdown from Hunter Henry that I thought I was definitely going to get once I saw Jacoby Brissett in the game, but that didn't happen. And I had another off-brand tight end down in Tampa. Payne. Wait, is it Payne Durham?
Payne Durham?
Yeah, I had him because his odds were like through the roof. But since it was tight end day, I thought maybe he would get lucky, and he didn't.
Chris, Nate just had a great term for second string.
What?
Off-brand.
Off-brand?
Off-brand.
Why?
So that's not. He said.
He's called an off-brand player?
Yeah, he said I've got an off-brand tight end
off-brand.
on my. Yeah. It's amazing.
He's not a fan favorite.
Yeah, just off-brand.
Well,
Second string.
Instead of
Durham?
Yeah, instead of Fruit Loops, Fruitios.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting that you put it that way. It's interesting that you put it that way. Anyways. I had more of that LeBron Hennessy the other night.
Oh, you like that? LeBron James.
Yeah, it was good.
LeBron
James.
Do we want to let Jameis out of the grill? Is he's trying to climb out? We heard him rattling around earlier.
Yeah, he was.
Is he going to emerge from the grill with the Browns?
Like, are they going to make the playoffs?
Yeah, or come close, maybe be in the conversation.
Oh, so if it's in the conversation, then no more cooked than the Bengals, no less cooked than the Bengals.
Yeah.
It's all just teams that are probably.
Hey, we're not talking about the Bengals.
I'll just make it
asking
sure.
you about the Browns.
If I'm going to be consistent, I'm going to say they're not mathematically eliminated. He's not dead yet, but like, if they play another team that might have more healthy guys in the secondary,
guys
they were down
with some clamps.
They were down Nate Wiggins. They were down Humphrey, and it really might have been God, dude, because the balls that were being dropped.
What did he say before the game?
Unwavering faith.
No, it's the pin.
There's 50 guys in a prayer circle every week. Half of them have low PFF grades. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how many times I prayed in the shower before St. Louis Rams game? Was that like a dead spot for cell service for God? Like, all of a sudden, you're telling me that because Jameis Winston was like a preacher pregame, that like that's why? I just don't. Sorry. I don't think God. I think God has too much to worry about right now.
Well, I don't like you. Jameis,
I'm worried about.
Jameis is a real preacher in real life. He preaches at churches, man.
I understand.
And he threw that.
Those
pass.
sermons are probably lit.
Yeah,
they're probably amazing.
He's closer. He's closer to the man.
And I was excited to see them get that win. But I'm just telling you, like it just like what gives, man? I used to sit there and hold hands with Steve Spagnuolo every week in the shower on a knee, and we never won. You know? Like, so I don't know.
Jameis did say when he threw that ball to Kyle Hamilton, the ball, it was in the air and Kyle was kind of bobbling it. Mm-hmm. Jameis said, I threw it and I prayed. I immediately was praying.
I watched him too. I watched to see if he was praying, and all he did was start running towards the sideline to tackle Kyle Hamilton. Was he praying while he was running?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody in the chat's going to be, you're making light of God. No, I'm not. It's football, man. I just don't. I'm not one of those people that thinks God's like, all right, let me get my parlay to hit here.
Yeah, no,
it needs to
definitely
be
not.
So, anyways, secondary was in shambles. Down Humphrey, down Wiggins. They benched Marcus Williams. Eddie Jackson had like probably one of the worst games you see a safety play this year. I mean, and I love Eddie Jackson from his days with the Bears, but like, it doesn't look the same. And, you had multiple drop picks. You talk about that from Eddie alone. He got dunked on by Njoku. He gave up the game winner late. Kyle Hamilton, you talked about that, the pick late, but also the pick in the end zone. I mean, 10 points basically on him, and I don't mean to say it that way because I think he's all world. He's the reason they're even winning games, right, on defense. But that's tough. And where's the pass rush for this group? These are troubling themes that are coming up for the Ravens. When they get the guys in secondary back, they'll be a lot better, but Zach Gore is still having some issues, right? And so the offense, they had some bad drops too. Aguilar had a bad drop on 3rd and 5. Bateman dropped the ball so bad at midfield. It was a seed, went like 40 yards. It must have broke 3 of his fingers, bro. The way it hit his hand so fucking hard, and he just laid there, and dudes are standing over him like. And I think he might have lost in the sun. Okay, but ultimately, it comes down to drive one for this team, the game-defining moment, the team that is ready for one thing. The Cleveland Browns are ready for one thing today, and that is trying to fucking kill Derrick Henry. That is like all of us, all 11 on the field, and you've been in a Jim Schwartz meeting before. Don't let him get started. And that's the way they came out, and they tried to knock his legs out before he get a full head of steam. He got going once, 39-yard run. Our guy, Juan Thornhill, survived what could have been a bad stiff arm moment. But I knew they were going to be ready when they came out the first drive. And Grant Delpit came in there, who made some really nice plays yesterday. It's fun to watch. Came in there and decleated Derrick Henry up top, took him on high, and then did this.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
He did the
Little boy.
I'm like, wow. Like,
the
y'all were
tone.
ready to play. So when Cleveland, the background is Cleveland, the one team that's done a good job against Derrick Henry, 3 yards a pop on his career. Last year, held him down. You get down 4th and 1 or whatever it is in the red zone, the first drive of the game. Let's find out if they can play from behind, shall we? No, you just run Wildcat. You take your best player on the field and you remove him from the formation. Like, that to me is not a great moment. That's not a great moment for Monken. And it kind of defined the rest of the game because I thought Cleveland did a pretty good job offensively. You take away those turnover-worthy throws, which did not burn them. Jameis Winston, confident, doesn't care. Cedric Tillman, been huge for them. Cedric Tillman's been really big for them. He's really tough, too. He took a big shot from Roquan Smith in this game on one of the last drives on 2nd and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Just allowed them to keep going, holding on to that ball. And then, overcoming the change in play caller in a week. Like, I didn't know what Ken Dorsey would look like, with Jameis Winston out there. And they mixed it up a pretty good bit. A couple different drives, couple different flavors. One drive was kind of take what you can get. And then the next drive, you're running the ball, going play action off of it. Great drives out of the half. And so I think, like, good sign coming out with a good game plan, but also good sign coming out of the half with, like, a plan and some versatility. I thought it was a pretty good day from them.
And
Offensive line probably played better too.
Takeaways. I got 2 takeaways from this game, Chris.
Yeah.
The first one is I think Stefanski's a good coach. I think he's put in a very tough situation, obviously, leading into this game with the quarterback play over the course of the season up to this point. And it like, people coach of the year, man, for a reason. Like, he's a good coach. Like, this is a good team win for them. So that's the first thing. It's probably such a relief for Stefanski to get a win with a different quarterback. Like, what a good feeling that is for him. And then the other thing is, this is a little bit of a question for the gang here in the studio is, are the Ravens cooked? What do you think?
No, look at the Broncos next week. They're fucked.
The Ravens are far from cooked.
Yeah.
But it is going to be damn interesting.
Ravens aren't cooked, Nate?
That Ravens Baltimore game, or the Ravens Denver game is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think the Ravens are cooked, not at all. I think, honestly, this was kind of not a trap game for them, but I'm a cape for the Ravens a little bit. Like, no one knew really how Jameis was going to play, how that offense was going to look. So I'm caping for them a little bit with that, but the Ravens always scare me because it's just like they're known to play down to their competition in games.
They generally do. But this game, I feel like when you can take Derrick Henry away,
Yeah.
relatively speaking,
even
like,
it levels
it really
out.
does level things out a little bit. And Lamar at the end of the game was damn near spectacular, getting this game to, and really they ended up giving Cleveland too much time.
Yeah.
Like,
They're 6th in the wild card right now, and a Russell Wilson-led Steelers team is leading their division by a half a game, and they play the Giants tonight.
But they still have the second best Super Bowl odds in the league.
Yeah.
With the Lions.
the Ravens,
They are far from cooked.
No, I just think it's a deal where it's like, hey, if this defense is going to be an issue, and now you're asking Lamar to outscore people, it's like year after year. It's like, hey, last year we abandoned the run game. This year we lose a bunch of guys on defense, and all of a sudden our identity changes in that way. The offense when it's rolling, is as scary as any in the league. I mean, this is one team that you better hope, and they probably don't make the playoffs, but like there's not a lot of teams that can match up well with the Ravens. You know what I mean? If they play their best ball.
If you're the Ravens, and before we get to the Bills, if you're the Ravens, who would you go make a trade for on defense? Who would you go get?
I would go get a rusher, I think, because as many little pieces as they have, and I don't mean to like diminish the guys they have. Like I think Kyle Van Noy's been great for them. Owe's got to be consistent, right? Did Ajabo play yesterday? I feel like he was a healthy scratch. So like you're looking and you bring in Ngakoue, you're throwing a lot of bodies at it. I think the biggest thing that they suffered from early in the season was looking at the second linebacker in coverage. But the secondary as well now with the way they're banged up. Like, take your pick. The defense is just not scary like it was before.
Who could they get though? Like Clowney? I'm trying to think of like
44 from Jacksonville.
Trayvon Walker. We've already kind of gone through the rushes that I think should be Arden Key, who he'd probably be another person that like the Ravens might not think he makes a difference. Ironically, maybe the Lions are like, I don't want to spend big. Maybe it's an Arden Key type guy.
Maybe
Granderson.
Up there.
And Ojabo was a healthy scratch yesterday.
So, there's a few things that they could probably use. I know that they weren't interested in Devontae Adams. They liked the guys they had outside. That was never going to be a thing. So it kind of makes me think they're going to stand pat at wide receiver. One thing about them that people don't talk about right now is like they forget Keaton Mitchell exists. When he comes back, that's going to add another element to this offense. So, Cleveland is just fucking good defensively. Like when they are on and their offense isn't just messing it up for them, like they play fast up front. That's another thing. Yeah. Big Z is a guy that, they would love to have a Big Z, Big Z's 32 years old. After that win, is Cleveland going to hang on to him? Are they going to hold off on selling, try to win another game? But there are guys out there, but they're just with Max Crosby not being available, as Mark Davis said, in all caps.
Yeah. All first letter caps.
I think you're going to look at a lot of guys who are maybe not spectacular answers for these teams. But somebody's got, if somebody wants the home run hitter, I think it's going to be a race to one of a couple guys. If there are certain guys available, like if Trayvon Walker's on your wish list, go out and do it right now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I think like there's a couple teams that need rushers this year. So
it could be. You mentioned Chase Young a couple weeks ago, going back to the Washington. He could check out the other team in the DMV area.
Yeah. No, I like Chase Young, but I those other names I feel like I'd be more on top of, or just I would just keep an eye on. What's going on around the league, who wants what, and try to beat a team to the punch, because like I would hate to, like, if I'm one of these teams that needs a rusher, to strike out trying to beat Coy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing that can keep you from getting to where you need to go. And I talked about it with Atlanta. Atlanta might be more sound defensively than Baltimore. Mm-hmm. It's just when I say, hey, I'm putting a ceiling on Atlanta but not Baltimore so much, it's because Baltimore's got that much better of a quarterback, and they've got Derrick Henry, and they have a way of doing things offensively. They got two really good tight ends. I don't know why, if that makes sense to people listening, that I don't put a ceiling on Baltimore as much as I do on Atlanta on account of the defense. But I think for Baltimore, it's the guys that they have in the building performing better in January, like including Lamar.
Yeah.
So.
You want to go out
real quick? I just think it's so interesting. You watch a team like the Browns, okay? Just one thing I love about the NFL is like just the parity. All right, these teams are all so good with so many talented players, and to just have a different quarterback come in, like the team played, it seemed to me like with so much more energy, and so like they played hard as hell.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like if you just have like something as intangible as like just a little bit of hope, or just a little bit of a different situation to get you out of this shithole that you've kind of had thus far in the season. It's just wild how different to me your football team can look. And that's all. And we make a lot of jokes about Jameis, and like he is what he is. Like he does give hilarious speeches, and he is a bit of a character and stuff like that. he played well, man. He had 3 touchdowns, 334 yards. And obviously, like, he could have had some picks too, but that's Jay Boo, baby.
Yeah.
But it's just so fun to me to see how different the same exact team can be, the same exact players, if they just have that, that little je ne sais quoi, just a little bit of hope.
That's it.
It's so good. And that's what I love about football.
The coach should break out the 1-0 theory. You just gotta worry about going 1-0. Hey, it's a new team.
Yeah.
If we go 1-0 from here on out, we could worry about the playoffs and all that later. But if we just focus on going 1-0, like, it doesn't matter who we play in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or the division. Like, this team, we're starting over, new quarterback. The locker room attitude is probably different. The culture probably feels different now that whole situation is kind of out of the picture now and has no reason to, like, come back in. So it's just you can rally behind it.
You can rally behind it for sure.
It's not a lot, but you definitely can rally behind it.
For sure. I think in the NFL, they're like, if you get, it's reinforced to you every week that you're not a good team. If it's reinforced to you every week that people hate you, they don't want you to win. If it's reinforced to you every week that the distraction is bigger than the team. If it's reinforced to you every week that, like, you don't even know if you're trying to win. Like, because it doesn't feel like trying to win trotting Deshaun Watson out there for half the season.
Yeah.
It seems like trying to justify your mistake.
Yeah.
And now you've turned the page. You've washed your hands of it. Even though the people that made the decision still have to live with the decision they made on a couple of levels, the guys in the locker room can show up to work on Sunday and say, hey, it feels good. Like it does feel like we have a chance. And that's that. Football's so mental. Bo talked about it. I mean, to come in and you could see Jameis through all of his 5 speeches pregame, guys were locked in,
Dude, that was one of my favorite things. Like, I would be, 2018 with the Bucs, we were bad, bro. Our defense was horrible. Our D coordinator got fired like 4 games in, and we knew they were going to clean house. Like, everyone, you know what I mean, Chris? Like, you just know. We would get these rah-rah speeches from Jay Boo before the games, and I'd be like middle ring, like, I was never like a first tier guy in the pregame speech huddle. At least not in Tampa. And you just, like, he would say something, and you just try to find your one buddy, like, with a straight face, and, like, make eye contact with him. Like in the office. Like, you got that right. Like, you got, like, make sure we talk about that later. It was so good, man. Like, you never knew what the fuck was coming out of his mouth.
Well, you never know what's coming out of his mouth, but also you never know what's coming out of anybody's mouth pregame. It's like a real fun thing to see, like, what guys, because that's not necessarily what we're all good at, talking to a group full of men. But sometimes the best players get up there, and I'm like, man, like, y'all just
this isn't
stick to making all the plays for us. You know what I'm saying?
Or a guy is, like, talking a lot out of nowhere, and you're like, what's the deal, man? You mic'd up today? Like, what's going on?
The mic'd up thing is real, dude.
Yeah,
the mic'd up thing is real.
The mic'd up thing kind of pushes along the little clout drug.
Dude, they used to always offer me to get mic'd up, and I used to say no because I didn't want to seem like that guy. And now I'm pissed that I didn't get mic'd up more. It looks cool as shit when guys are mic'd up.
Yeah,
like, it's cool.
They mic'd me up in Tampa, and it was just me just heavy breathing.
No, the best. That's honestly the best part of mic'd up. As weird as it is the grunts and the sounds that, like, maybe, like, for me as an ex-player to hear the mic'd up of stuff. You don't, like, when you're in the moment, you hear certain sounds that
really like that.
Yeah, you know the sound of, like, when it's like helmet to helmet or shoulder pads pop a little bit, but the grunts and some of the other sounds that happen within a football game.
Some of the collision sounds. Like that when I was
multiple
playing, you didn't even think about it.
And then a pile up, like, all the sounds and, like, the mic kind of, like, rubbing. And then, like you said, really the guys running down on kickoff. And then if they make a tackle, it's like, oh, yeah.
It sounds like when you put a GoPro on a dog.
Yes.
Like when they put a GoPro on a dog, like, that's like a dude running down on kickoff. He's like, and then I also used to love where it would go like, and then the guy would go, when they cuss instead of just beeping it out, it was like that, like that is NFL Films gold. And now on Inside the NFL, which is on Wednesday nights, check us out. I'm in a treasure trove of mic'd up shit. I hear shit on a week-to-week basis. I'll hear some shit that I'm like, oh, that's so good. And then they'll be like, we can't use that. The team told us we can't use that. I have heard things, you wouldn't believe. I mean, it's incredible. All right.
There were some hot mics on Sunday, though, Chris. Did you hear the one in Green Bay?
What was it?
Funny. Someone was screaming on the sidelines. They actually, it was so like blatant, glaringly obvious that the broadcasters, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, screaming.
Yeah.
And the broadcaster was like, I think that was our producer.
Yeah.
And then there was another good one on, it might have been Sunday Night Football last night. I can't remember. But there were a couple hot mic moments that I was loving yesterday.
Well, we got Travis Kelce talking to, maybe it was Jack Jones or somebody at the end of that game after they got a first down in the red zone, and he was like, all that talking for this? All that talking for this? You know, like a moment like that is just, it is something. Some of the shit talking out on that field, some of the like what's going on between players is something else. I love it. I wish they would live stream. Like, I wish they would pay certain players more to allow a live mic'd up.
BG.
BG.
Oh, just listen to the BG broadcast.
That one of him against the 49ers when he's like, I'm a big dog, you're a little dog. And Fletcher's just like, hey, man, big stop here. Big stop. Big stop. Hey, yeah, I got you, Fletch. All right.
He's like a pinball of emotion. He's just pinballing around talking to whoever, like anybody he makes eye contact with. It could be like the assistant O-line coach on the other. It could be like the first female coach.
I see you looking. I see you. I'm out here.
Yeah.
Well, we got Bills Seahawks. We're going out west.
Okay, let me just say this. James Cook. I didn't say it. James Cook. Yeah. Whoa.
Breaks there.
Yeah.
James Cook went for 6.5 a pop. For 6.5 a pop.
Everyone was talking Ray Davis.
Dude, listen, the run game, period. Hats off to Aaron Cromer. Hats off to that offensive line. Aaron Cromer, the coach of and by the way, boys, I need a little juice. That's why you guys are the best producers in the land. Plug it in. Now my computer's going to get stronger in the second half of this show, like the Buffalo Bills run game. Aaron Cromer, my brother played for him, really loves him. His group always does a good job. I just want to shout out Spencer Brown. Shout out, Osiris Torrance. You know, Spencer Brown was out in space decking people last week. Didn't get a chance to shout him out for that. But this week, more of the same. Just opening up big holes up front. Dawkins, McGovern. You know, there was a 3rd and 2 in the second half where they were just road grading and just watch the way they finished this game on the ground. Like, to go up 31-3, watch those last 2 runs on that possession. You know, like I can't show you that because the NFL doesn't want me to have any film. But please go back and watch the way this group ran the ball in the second half of the game. I was so impressed with this group. And Coleman, who had a big day, blocked his ass off. Everybody on this offense is bought in. Everybody's bought in. Everybody is selfless. It's part of the reason they bring in Coleman, because he fits the attitude of the offense. There's nobody on that offense that's like, it's about me. And that's not a shot at anybody who left. But, like, Coleman blocks his ass off. You know, the Cook touchdown to go up 24-3. Watch him block. Watch him block. You know, he's really taking the step, you know, out there at receiver. He did drop a chunk play early, but Josh just keeps going back to him. One of the most fun sequences of the damn game was first down in the red zone. Josh throws him a fade. Woolen, who's another big body, makes a play. Okay? He's jawing at Keon Coleman. Second down, something else happens. Third down, they're like, all right, we'll go back again. On the other side of the field, Woolen's on him. He dunks on Woolen and pats him on the head like the way you would pat a guy who downed a punt, like a teammate on your team. And with Keon Coleman, I'm not really sure if he's dogging him or if he's just being like silly as fuck or what. But I just love seeing this guy play. He's like a big kid out there, but he really is starting to get it. And you're starting to see Josh kind of trust him a little bit more. And obviously with the guys they're bringing in, and I don't think it's been a product of that the last 2 weeks. I think it's mainly him just figuring things out. But, like, Cooper doesn't hurt. Where Cooper really helps was Shakir. Shakir is a nightmare inside, and you can't put any extra attention on him because you got to take something out of the outside of the field. And you remember when they had Cole Beasley, and Beasley was like, you know, their guy. Shakira is Beasley on steroids. Okay, like, so he's got this option inside. The big guy outside's coming along. You bring in Cooper, and the offensive line's blocking their ass off. Now, I talked about the defense. The defense played well, obviously. Okay, we'll get to that. I'll break down the defense and what they did well later in the week a little bit. But I thought those goal line stands were big, but it wasn't anything they necessarily did. It was just Seahawks being Keystone Cops. And to go on the road, though, like on a macro level, Seattle used to be a tough place to play. Like, it really did. I don't know if it's the same anymore, but I just know it used to be hell. It used to be hell.
Gino mentioned that, actually, Chris. I mean, dude, I played there like 5 or 6 times. I was always sick as a defensive player because you're out there and you're like, God, I wish we had this at home. You know, especially when they were rolling with the Legion of Boom and like all those great defenses they had. But I think Gino said in like a post-game presser, he's like, Bills Mafia really came out. Like, it felt like we're at an away game, which is not something you're accustomed to hearing.
Boy, you are not accustomed to seeing that. And then I also think leaving the field, watching Josh leave the field, like, that is a cool place to play. Like, I know it's tough, but it's also like a damn cool city to like travel to and play. It's like being in like another country. It's so far up in the Pacific Northwest.
Favorite visits.
It's overcast. There was weed before there was weed elsewhere.
Yep.
Didn't you
People
say
playing catch with the fish?
Didn't you say when you played there was a guy who would sit in the same section and you would talk to him?
I talked to him every time.
Yeah.
So we went there every year and lost to them like clockwork. Week 17. They always scheduled us week 17. It'd always be misting, 34 degrees, not cold enough to snow, but always cold enough to be uncomfortable and wet. And it used to be a thing where, you know, we'd play them tough, low-scoring game. Russ would hit a moon ball in the fourth quarter, or, you know, a pick six would happen, one big play. And it was usually like Golden Tate or some shit. And we'd end up like losing 12-5 or like 14-6. And I used to every game walk out of that tunnel, like into the tunnel, walk out and see this guy with a big sign. And he would always have some clever ass sign, and he'd be so like kind of like on your ass the whole game. And then on the way out, he'd be on your ass. And I'll never forget the last time I played there, and I was washed in St. Louis. At this point, I was playing hurt and shit. And I knew it was the end, but we found a way to beat him. And I can remember walking out of the stadium. This is time number 8. Okay. And I stopped in the corner of that end zone and shot the shit with that guy for like 5 minutes, you know, because I knew I was done. I wasn't going to be playing there anymore. And it was real cool. It's like the 12s, man, they really are. Although I hated them for years, I can't tell you how cool it was to play up in that stadium when it was rocking. Even though we went 1-7, it just was a wild place. And in the other end zone, the boxes are right down on the field. I think that stadium was ahead of its time. You know what I love about the stadium? It's state of the art, but they didn't build it inside, and everything was like down on the field. The acoustics are obviously great.
Every time,
I think they pipe in noise. Like Bill said that about the RCA Dome. And shit.
Yeah. Well, I wonder because like it seems so tight. Every time you see like an end zone shot looking down the field, and you can see the stands on either side, and the half dome or whatever the stands going up, it seems so tight, so narrow on the side. I wonder if that has any.
No,
I think that's what they claim, but they also have powerful speakers.
They claim the walls. The reason why the walls like that helps the sound.
And of course, some people from Seattle are smart enough to understand that.
Right.
But I just love that stadium, and it is not the same. And I put myself in Josh's shoes, knowing how it was to walk out of that stadium at the end of that game. Bills Mafia took that thing over. They're the last people in the stadium. I mean, it was emptied out. And he's walking out and they're chanting MVP. And I got chills thinking about it because that's what the NFL is all about. It's about going on the road. It's about the silence in that building. Whether it was like the Eagles going down to New Orleans and making those plays down there and the whole place going quiet in a big game, or it's like just gradually, we're going to kick your ass and watch people leave the stadium. And at the end of the game, it's just going to be us and our fans. Like, that is the best feeling in the NFL. It ain't winning at home. It really isn't. It's going on the road, and it's taking care of business. And for the Bills to go do that this way, that was really impressive. And Josh finally threw a pick to pacify all you haters and losers.
It was coming.
The haters and the losers.
I was disappointed in Seattle. My one thing, Seattle, I just feel like home field advantage is a real thing. And for them to play sloppy, like with ball handling in the rain, when you're a team that's kind of your advantage. Teams go out there and they're not used to playing with wet balls or handling, and then you're the team that is suffering from all the stuff that you would think that other teams
that's interesting
would be suffering, and that really like killed them from the start of the game where they couldn't get anything going, and I just feel like that was disappointing.
Seahawks, man, they gotta get it together, man. Get it together, bro. Like, just be the same team 2 weeks in a row. I'm sure Seahawks fans are like, yeah, you just met us. I'm like, yeah, but like, so the other two teams the other three teams in the AFC that got big wins: Texans, Chiefs, Chargers, all gutsy wins in their own right. Like, listen, 2 out of these 3 wins are division wins. So like, we'll start with those. The Texans, we knew it was going to be a tough game. They had a chance to really put it away at the end. Still damn near gave it away, right? But thank goodness, Anthony Richardson. And hey, guys, when I say something, do you know by now it's not personal? Are you aware of the fact that I'm really trying to give you the best take available to me, like through watching the film and staying on top of these teams? When I said that Anthony Richardson needed a break, I meant it. And I don't mean like a week. I mean like he needs a break. Okay?
He needs to play off.
And that doesn't mean that I don't think he can be a player in this league. I'm not giving up on the guy. I mean, I would tell you another quarterback that I would give up on, like, a rookie. There's not one this year. But, like, I would tell you if I didn't think he could ever be good, he has a ceiling that is high. Mm-hmm. But the gimmies, the easy stuff, I mean, 10 of 32 passing, there should be a rule in the NFL that if you complete less than 30% of your passes, like, you have to sit the next week or something like that, because it's just a disservice to the guys on the team, and it's starting to be a thing where I'm questioning what their motivation is as an organization this year, because, and I'm partial to this because I have been a guy on bad teams, and we didn't have a choice a lot of time. We were just bad. But could you imagine being on a good team that was a bad team because you didn't make one decision that might be the tough decision? But you have to make it to the other 52 grown men in the locker room. You have to make the decision. You have to give Flacco a chance to lead you to the playoffs. And you can say I'm giving up on Anthony Richardson. That's your words taking me out of context if you run around saying that. What I'm saying is Anthony Richardson on this team this year is not the answer. Next year he could be the answer. 5 years from now he could be the answer. But until you get his mechanics right, and until you get his accuracy right, we're going to be doing the same thing every week with this Colts team, and there's a decent team in there, And Texans were down some guys. Alshire, Toto. The run game was an issue. JT had some explosive runs. Texans played sloppy. Some drives stalled. I mean, Stroud, who I love, he's missing some balls. He missed some balls yesterday. Mm-hmm. But the touchdown to Tank Dell before the half was huge. You pointed that out. No, it's just a big fucking play.
Yeah, it's kind of similar. It's similar to what we're seeing, I think, with Mahomes right now, with instances of pitch and catch throws he's missing, but in the moments when you need it, he works his magic, and they're able to come out on top of these games. And honestly, I think that's why it honestly still keeps you bullish on this team is they haven't played a full 4 quarters yet offensively, and I think CJ's still just kind of trying to find his jumper right now.
And listen, the protection's been an issue this year. I'm not making excuses. Obviously, they're missing their ace outside, and it is year 2. If this is a rookie regression, I mean, they're what's their record right now? Fucking 6-2. They're not even playing their best ball. Mm. This team's going to be scary down the stretch. 60% pressure rate yesterday. The rushers, they're this defense, the speed they play with, if they find a way to host a playoff game, imagine having to go down to Houston and win. Mm. And imagine them getting their shit together late in the season here. Teams, this is a long season. It just got longer. They've got a lot of time to get this thing together and on the right track. I am unwavering in my faith in C.J. Stroud as a top five quarterback. Oh, yeah. Top 5, French top 5, whatever you want to say. You can say he's not playing like that guy, but if we drafted quarterbacks, he's going pretty early for me. And I think they're going to figure it out. But the Colts, man, you are leaving wins on the table, and there are guys who are losing years of their career watching you sit by idly and not do anything here.
Chris, do you know what AR's completion percentage is on 133 attempts?
41.
44%.
That was just a guess.
And you look at that.
Somebody said, "Yet these motherfuckers still covering."
You look at that last drive, Anthony. The first play, he scrambles for 26 yards from their 9-yard line, so they're up to the 35. But he doesn't go out of bounds. He's the option to go out of bounds at 10 seconds right there, and then you find that you could have used that 10 seconds when you get the first down on 4th and 10. There's 2 seconds left. You have to run and spike the ball. You spike it with 10 seconds left or 12 seconds left.
What are we doing?
That's 1 or 2 more plays. You kick the field goal.
And they're coming out of the game. Listen, again, he's the last guy I want to. If there are guys that I don't like, I watch him talk, and I'm like, I don't like this guy. I'm going to keep it to myself for the most part. Sometimes it might come through, but there are guys that I'll be like, yeah, you seem like kind of a fucking dork. I like Anthony Richardson. I like the way he operates. I like the way he carries himself. He seems like a good kid, man. But he's a kid, and when you say out loud that I was tired, I had to come out of the game. That's probably one you want to keep between the coach and you. I don't know if that's something I've ever seen happen.
Read the fucking room, man. That was wild to me. Chris, I would never ever admit that.
I don't think that's too wild.
In fact, I have thrown up on myself in games before.
Have you ever heard a quarterback say, "I was tired, I had to come out"?
No, I haven't.
I will lose.
But
I lost respect for him. Just straight up.
Oh wow, no, I'm not going.
Well, it's like this. I just feel like,
going there.
Look, I feel like any team you've ever been on, coaches tell you it's actually selfish to stay in a game if you're tired.
No question.
When someone else can come in.
They also say if you don't like it, leave.
You're a quarterback, bro.
Hey, it doesn't matter. He's not a typical quarterback. How many quarterbacks are breaking off chunk runs?
Has Lamar ever come out of the game?
No, he absolutely hasn't. It's not. All I'm saying for him in general, it's just one of those things. When you're on a team, coaches always tell you, "Yo, if you're tired, come get a blow. Come out for a couple of plays and then get back in when you're ready."
Harder. You're the face of the organization. You're trying to be the franchise quarterback, and you're playing horribly, and you have a very capable backup in a good team that can lead your team to victory, and you are purposely putting yourself on the sideline because you're tired. What?
Hey man, like you said, he's already making mistakes. Think about think about how hard it is to think and play quarterback when you're exhausted. If he's exhausted enough to ass out, that's all I'm saying.
In America, bro, and there are people who would suck a fucking dick to throw one pass.
Whoa.
You're putting yourself on the fucking sideline.
You should have gone with fart.
Whoa.
There are people that would suck a fart.
Oh my goodness!
What are you talking about?
I just think there's certain positions where it's understood you don't get to tap out. Quarterback and O-line.
You can say you understand it, but you have to admit you're in the vast minority here.
I get it, but I'm just saying. Everyone who's been on a team, coaches say that.
I agree, but they also say, and we talked about this. If you don't like it, leave. How many days did you not like it? Did you ever leave?
Nah.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
He's relatively green to football culture. Maybe that didn't.
Bro, he played at Florida. He played at
hasn't
Florida.
played a ton of snaps.
I understand, but you played in the deep south.
Pull yourself out of the game when you're a quarterback.
Also, he's played at Florida where, I guarantee you he was more tired playing down there at the swamp at some point.
Bro,
running a quarterback run off.
Use a shoe and throw on a different fucking cleat and run your ass back out there for your fucking team.
Just make something up is all I'm saying after the game. I'm okay if that happened and we can keep that between us. Like on the bus on the way home, I'd probably put my arm around him and be like, bro, we need to do some gassers or something, don't we?
Yeah.
Like you really shouldn't say that out loud. But from an optics standpoint, it's not good.
Dylan,
but I respect your opinion, Nate, completely. I just
don't like it. I mean, we watched Saquon asked to come out after long
Bo
runs.
Does not respect that opinion.
I mean, we watched Saquon and other guys they asked to come out after long runs. Why can't quarterbacks do it once in a while?
Matt Ross said they're sucking the farts. They're eating the dogs by the people who live there.
The last thing on this game, Dylan Carthy asked in the chat, or said in the chat, Colts and Browns situations are really similar. Is that accurate? Colts and Browns?
Prior to last week. Now, different in that, like, one team is defending a terrible decision that they made on a guy with a bunch of civil cases over his head who forgot how to play football. And the other team probably coming down from on high, the owner's probably saying, hey, Shane, we got to play this guy. I would have to guess. Because you talk about – I saw in the chat that somebody said elite backup. I think Flacco is one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I think in his prime he certainly was. But late in his career – think of all the situations he's walked into that are dumpster fires and played well in spots. Not just spots. Leading the Browns to the playoffs. The way he's played for the Colts this year. What he did he has records that are still standing at MetLife for the Jets. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I don't think Rodgers has had a game like he had in a Jets uniform. The only place that was a dump enough for him not to make plays was Denver. Which goes to show you how far they've come, Reed.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
But I really do think like Flacco, somebody said he's way better than Aaron Rodgers right now. He should play. It's hard for me to say that because, like, Aaron Rodgers' career is so much better. Like, from a standpoint of just like, oh my God, look at that throw. Like, oh my God, like Rodgers is one. Rodgers was touched by somebody. I don't mean it like that, but he was somebody like
a lot.
Somebody like he got the ET finger or something. Somebody was just like, bink, you get to throw the ball like a superhuman being. Right. So Flacco's not that, but like Flacco, I don't know where I'd put him in the league if he was a starting quarterback, but it ain't the bottom 15.
No.
It ain't the bottom 15. If I'm doing a draft for 1 year at this point, not for like 5 years, 1 year.
Yeah.
Where's he land for you? Pull up all the quarterbacks in the league. Do a totally unnecessary and unrealistic task. Pull up all the starting quarterbacks in the league. Now enhance. Okay? All right? I like him better than Bryce Young. No offense, I like him better than Bo Nix. I think he's playing better than Dak Prescott. Okay, I think now Dak Prescott was an MVP last year, so let me not go crazy here. But Jameis Winston, yeah, okay. Anthony Richardson, yeah. Trevor Lawrence, I like him better than Trevor Lawrence right now. Gardner Minshew, yeah. Justin Herbert, no, we're not touching that one. We'll talk about that in a second. I got a bone to pick with a few of you in the chat. Over Justin Herbert. Daniel Jones, absolutely. Russell Wilson, I think so.
Aaron Rodgers right now?
Yeah. Part of that's just me, like, wanting a guy in the locker room that's not going to cast a dark shadow. I've been in the darkness. You just have to, what did he say? You have to embrace it?
Yeah.
Okay, Bane.
That's what they said. Trying to be Bane so badly. So badly.
Except he refused to wear the mask.
Yeah.
Bro, and about that, just for people in here that are like, you only hate him because of the vaccine. Like, you don't even know my personal opinion on anything. But on top of that, I have not seen one person say Kirk Cousins is an asshole over the past couple of years. The guy was like, I'm not taking a shot.
Yeah.
I'm wearing plaid and I'm not going to get a vaccine. And everybody was like, okay.
Okay.
I was like, okay. Rodgers.
Nobody cares, Kirk.
Nobody. Rodgers, the lamenting wipeout, people are picking on Rodgers. It's because of press conferences like that.
Yeah.
Am I missing something?
No, he does it to himself. I totally agree. I'm not a Rodgers fan.
Tua, yeah, absolutely. I would take Flacco over Tua, and that's add him to the list. It's not.
Sorry, it seems like top 20.
Yeah,
for sure. There's a couple guys that I don't want to say out loud that I might take.
Absolutely number one on his roster. right now.
Number one on this roster, absolutely.
Is what we're getting at.
Absolutely, bro.
Flacco's not taking any plays off.
No.
It's just like, when did we decide he's washed? You know what I'm saying? Because at one point we made a joke over like Joe Flacco's elite, but the funny part about the joke was like at times he really was. Okay. And all of a sudden late in his career, surprise, surprise, he's still pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just shelved. One team let him walk to keep the starting quarterback happy, and the other team's keeping the starting quarterback happy right now.
Yeah,
It's like he's just ended up with the short end of the stick.
and then the Colts are dropping the balls because they kind of have a sample, like watching another team and the Pittsburgh Steelers do a quarterback change midseason, and it's only one game right now, but it's just like, yo, pull the trigger and do it.
Yeah.
But like you said, and we've been saying like every week, there's no way to think that they're being serious.
I wish Macon was here to
about
call
winning.
the Colts and tell them to start Joe Flacco.
We'll
All
do
right.
that on Friday.
We'll do that on
We'll
Friday.
do that on
I'm
Friday.
waiting everything for starting the quarterback next week. I thought I saw it this morning.
Who?
Look that up though. I'm pretty sure the Colts said like we're evaluating
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson for
Yep.
starting.
Well,
Good.
I think we've been. Well, we're just gonna start evaluating now.
Before it's
After
too
that
late.
boneheaded comment, fuck yeah, dude.
You're on the comment. I'm on the tape,
Yeah.
and you're on the comment the
Comment
other way.
I mean, they go hand in hand. All right. You can make a
Okay.
comment like that if you're bawling.
Okay. Here we go. Here we go.
Taysom
do
Hill
it.
takes breaks.
What? Taysom Hill?
Yeah, he takes breaks.
Yeah, because he's a fucking gadget quarterback.
He's
And
not
so-
a quarterback.
and
all
I don't
right?
So is
think
Taysom Hill's
Richardson.
a football
Then-
player.
No, no.
Let me
'cause
let me watch.
let me know when
watch
Taysom Hill is the
Anthony
starting quarterback on the
on a split zone.
I was gonna let you off easy, but you're doing the troll thing. That was the
Yeah.
shittiest take ever.
Hey,
It's an unserious take. Add it to your long line of unserious takes.
Yeah.
You're
Taysom Hill
borderline
threw a-
trolling.
He threw a
this
40-yard
morning.
pass horizontal, like across the field, that almost got intercepted by a defensive lineman who was deeper on like past the line of scrimmage.
Ridiculous.
That sounds like
nuts.
some
I
Anthony
just want to
Richardson.
know. I just want to know that you believe what you're saying. That's all. You know, if you believe it, it's fine. But if you don't believe it and you're trolling, that would be something.
Bro, I just think everyone's overreacting a little much about someone being tired. Like him outright like admitting that he was tired and he had to come out for a play or two.
I thought you were old school.
I am, but at the same token, like we would still be on his ass if he snapped a ball and he did some dumb shit because he was tired. Like, would we not? Like we already
we
are.
We wouldn't have assumed he was because he was tired.
But like, what if all these
It would
sailor
probably been bad quarterback play.
and I
Would've
get
been
it.
guess.
And it's something that, like, for him,
Yeah.
you need to go get in shape because, like, we're talking about what if some of these sailed balls and some of these things that's going on is
who
because
who
he's
tapped
tired.
out? You know who tapped out?
Who?
Chris Long in Wyoming.
You did. You did. That air was different.
All right. Last one. Chargers. Can we? Well, not last one because God's team and the Patriots, but
And the Chiefs,
And the Chiefs.
oh, and the Chiefs. We'll
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
we
the
talk
Chiefs
about-
first.
a team that doesn't have a quarterback controversy.
I just got to I got to tip my cap to the defense, man. Late in this game, you find yourself in a game like this. I really do believe the Kansas City Chiefs last year lose this game. Like they lose this game last year. I think they've learned a lot about how to win in their current form over the last calendar year, and obviously with the news of Josh Uche coming into town.
Uche is what he
he
said it
prefers
today. He said
Uche?
Joshua Uche.
Okay,
Uche.
Josh, I've been saying it wrong for 4 years.
Well, he just came out today and said
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been saying it wrong.
Just to me.
Joshua
I had an old
Uche.
teammate, rest in peace. He spelled it the same way, and it was Uche.
Really?
But yeah, down in Jacksonville,
Damn.
the old lineman that passed away.
I didn't know that.
recently. Yeah.
No, I didn't know that. Well, obviously no relation because that's Uche.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So Josh Uche is joining the Chiefs. They had DeAndre Hopkins last week, who only got like a couple targets, but albeit big targets. I mean, like one of them kept the scoring drive alive. The other one on the sideline, same thing, got him 3 points before the half. In a game like this, where you're playing a division rival who last year beat you in Kansas City, you knew this group would have something to say, or they would be out here like kind of muddying it up. And in the third quarter, there was a point where they almost went down in this game. They were down 10-7 early in this game. Like I just thought Karlaftis stepping up with a sack, really big, and then the very next time, there's a legitimate goal line stand. I want to give Derek Nadi. There you go. Derek Nadi, he was a fucking monster on that last possession down there in that goal line stand. I just want you Chiefs fans, if you haven't, to go back and look at Derek Nadi on the goal line, just stacking people up. I mean, they ran right at him 3 times, and he just kept shutting the door. The other Tranquil knifing in there, making plays in the low red. Karlaftis, for the second week in a row, I feel like, making a play. Remember last week he spun inside, had a sack against the Niners, or it was a hit or something, but the guy has been really disruptive in the red zone. They're a smart team. They play smart in the red zone. I'm pretty sure if you gave the Raiders, 10 possessions at the 10-yard line, I don't know how many fucking touchdowns they're scoring, because this team just knows what they're doing in the red zone. Extremely well coached. Spags is a beast. They got gap sound guys. Listen, some of the deficiencies you have between the 20s, you can't get away from. But when the field shrinks, like, you can be the perfect team if you're well coached and you got good eyes and you got guys up front who are unselfish. And that's what they have. And so, again, this defense standing up. And obviously, Kelsey, first touchdown of the season, 90 yards on the day. That's a good sign, right? And it has something to do with Hopkins, I'm sure. But I think in the future.
Bro, it has everything to do with National Tight End Day. That's the only reason Kelsey decided to wake up and score a touchdown.
Probably. And one thing I want to add more about this game, Nate, I'm sure you saw this. First play of the fourth quarter, Mahomes tackled out of bounds, no penalty. Tackled forcefully out of bounds. Landed 2-3 yards out of bounds. Boom, burped him, no penalty.
Because you're friends with the NFL refs. You put a call in. Dean Blandino and the guys.
Yeah. Oh, that's my boy, Dean Blandino, for real, though.
I know. I know.
So, big win for the Chiefs. I mean, none of them are small when you're undefeated. And I think more than anything, adding Uche, like, that wouldn't have been the first thing on my list. I wouldn't have thought, like, hey, edge rush right away. Don't they get Omenahu back at some point?
Yeah, he'll be back at some point, yeah.
But I guess you can never have too many rushers. And when you're going for a three-peat, again, remember, it's burn the ships. Like, draft capital be damned, the future be damned, because nobody's going to give a fuck. If they win 3 titles in a row, I don't care what kind of 8-ball they're behind the next couple of years, because guess what? Next year, you're going to have Rashee Rice back. You're going to have Hollywood Brown. You're going to have those guys that have been injured back on your team. Pacheco. Like, so who cares about the future? Let's talk about right now. They got a chance to win 3 championships in a fucking row.
Yeah.
Burn the ships, bro. Light them on fire.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
And don't be done.
Mm-hmm.
Go out and do something else.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Let me ask you something. Why is Andy Reid only 16-1 to win Coach of the Year?
And they updated today. He's up to plus 700.
Plus 700 now.
Probably because he's got Mahomes.
He's suffering from success.
Yeah, success. It's got to be like a sudden thing. But if they go like,
get it, you're a great coach.
If they go like 15-2,
but it's just like
in the NFL,
I know,
like, bro,
I feel like they're undefeated now, and like no one's really like caring too much about it. Like, where usually when teams get to this point, you're kind of like, oh, on watch, they're still undefeated. Because
people want style points.
Will they? Yeah.
People want style points.
Yeah.
All you can control is the game being played at any given time and how you perform in that situation. Mm-hmm. And do you score more points than the other team? And you can call it winning ugly. You can call it, but they also make it ugly for teams that are sexier. So like they can win ugly, they can win spectacular because of the quarterback they have, but they can also muddy it up too with the defense they have and the style of play that they have inside with those guys up front. Like they're going to get better as the year goes on. Just like they did last year. Mm-hmm. And they're 7-0. Last year, this time, I feel like the cracks were starting to show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's kind of scary. And I'm going to tell you something else. San Francisco 49ers, do they look like a Super Bowl team? Now, they might get the guys back, and they might be right there. But, like, does Baltimore's defense look, there's a case to be made that – people are paying less attention this year to them than they should, relative to last year. They're 7-0. To your point, Nate.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I know.
And a bunch of guys getting hurt, and Pacheco. Like, it's like you would think you'd be hearing about this more, and it's just kind of like, oh, Pacheco got hurt. And it's moving on. It's on to Kareem Hunt, on to Steele, and we're just going to still win games.
No question.
Whether you guys know who's scoring touchdowns or making the big plays, we're still getting W's.
And it's a thing of beauty. I'm not a Chiefs hater. I'm a Chiefs appreciator. The beautiful thing about playing pro sports is when I was younger, I used to hate the best team, right? When I was really young, I loved the best team. I was a front runner, like every other kid. Okay? But then you get to a certain age and you start hating on the best team. But playing the game, it makes you appreciate what it takes. There's no amount of them being great and the NFL being boring that's going to get in the way of me appreciating what they do year after year.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned this time last year the Chiefs were 6-2. They won in Week 9, the first weekend of November. Then they had their bye week. After their bye week, they went 2-4 out of their next 6 to fall to 9-6.
We had the
Won the last
drops.
two.
We had the penalties. We had the whole.
People were attacking you on it, not attacking.
Oh, they
People
were
on you on inside the NFL.
Oh, they were attacking. They were attacking. My boys were attacking me. There was one day, just a reminder. We're in the production meeting. Everybody's like, hey, do you think the Chiefs are cooked? I said, no, the Chiefs are not cooked. They're sushi. They're sushi until the final whistle hits in the playoffs. And they said, oh, no problem. Then we go out on set, and everybody's like, you moron. What are you falling for it? The Chiefs are cooked. Well, who got the last laugh? I think that we're past second-guessing the Chiefs and how they win or how they lose. Like, they just are that good. Chargers.
And a quick shout-out to the homie Blaze in the chat. Said Herbert showing why he's a top 5 QB with a lad and a few ShopRite workers. Happy to see that he's proven the haters wrong. Send us a few dollars. Appreciate you, Blaze.
Listen, let me say this.
Tips in the chat.
I could not believe we had a moment last week where I had to remind you suckers that Justin Herbert is potentially elite. And by potentially elite, I mean like they actually have to win games. But he's not thrown to a whole lot of people. Lab McConkey was river dancing over 100 yards.
2 tutties.
Herbert could work. They protected pretty well, even though the Saints, who have devolved into this, just I don't know what their deal is. They're trying to hurt everybody. They're dirty. Seriously.
Bozeman teammate of the year.
Listen, I'm all for playing on the edge, but this is a little over the edge, I think. And that's the type of thing where you try to twist Justin Herbert's ankle like that. Like if I'm an offensive lineman, I'm going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Like if I was one of the offensive linemen for their team, and I'm glad 75 jumped on the pile and shit, but I'm coming to hurt you. Like put you on IR.
I didn't remember it happened. Were there any flags called on that play? They just broke him up?
I don't think so. I think
so.
And I respect. I kind of respect that ref that was right in front of it, because it's just like, at the same token I'm saying I respect the ref, I kind of just like, ref, why didn't you call the flag when you see the D lineman twisting this guy's leg? But catching the tail end of it, usually the second guy gets caught in a situation like that and they end up throwing the flag. But that ref, seeing what was going on, it was kind of like, yeah, you deserve that. I'm not going to throw a flag.
Yeah, listen, I mean, flag be damned, that stuff's got to get made right in the game. It's got to get made right before you get on the bus.
But like, what's guys? I understand guys' intensity when you're playing ball, but it's like, what is it going through your head that you're like, you want to kind of like intentionally hurt somebody? Like, what are you doing for yourself, or do you feel like you're helping your team potentially win if I hurt this guy? Like, I don't get it.
Well, you're just coming in all charged.
I don't know that he necessarily knew that Herbert didn't have the ball. That's the only defense. And I thought it was dirty. But I think that's the only defense I could possibly come up with for him.
I'm reading that Bozeman did get flagged for unnecessary roughness.
Oh, okay.
Well, whatever it is, man, it did look dirty to me.
FedEx,
and when you got a team,
straight to Herbert's locker with that FedEx.
I'm still stuck on that Smitty thing. Like I'm still stuck on the Smitty thing.
Yeah,
it's not even the hit. I just go back to that thing. Like I was gonna come in that Monday and be like, hey, and some of y'all might not like me for this, but back in the day, we tried to make that hit all the time. Like I made that hit a bunch.
Yeah.
Where you try, the guy's still up. Yeah. That's a dream. You call that dirty, but where it got like way out of hand to me was standing over him and spitting on the guy is like an unbelievable thing. And it wasn't the only thing, because Penny tried to drive Slay under the bench. Guy hadn't blocked anybody in 3 years. takes it all out on Darius Slay, and I just don't like the team anymore.
And Shepard, who was the Saints player, he also was flagged for unnecessary roughness, offsetting.
Okay.
Anyways, the whole point of this whole thing is Justin Herbert is a dog, and Justin Herbert is a jugs machine. And if you give Justin Herbert a stable surrounding, and I'm not talking about Brandon Staley, and I'm not talking about the offense they ran before, I'm talking about a couple years in this offense where they start adding pieces around him. And the thing I really like about it is, yes, you are giving him an unorthodox break. How many times do you come in and the head coach is hired and they hire an offensive coordinator and everything is about maximizing the immediate potential, the immediate returns on the quarterback to prove that, like, we fixed the quarterback or we got the most out of the quarterback. What they've come in and done is say, we're going to build a program where we try to win games. And the way we're going to do it early on, the people that want to see Justin throw for $350 a week are sometimes going to be disappointed. But what he's not going to do is he's not going to get killed, and he's not going to build bad habits, and we're not going to lose a bunch of games. And that's what's happening right now.
Yeah. They're doing exactly what they said they would under Harbaugh, and it's respectful. This was my one thing, though, is like, been wavering back and forth a lot. I got to look at the rest of the Chargers schedule, but it's like, they solid or they mid? I really can't tell sometimes. And I don't know if it's their lack of like offensive playmakers or what exactly it is. It's like mid or solid. Like, do they make the playoffs? I really don't know, Chris.
I just want to push back on this Taylor. Do they make the playoffs? I think they got a shot. But I'm reading here that hurting players is just a defensive mindset. Your goal is to punish your opponent within the rules and regulations of the game. The hit on Smitty versus the Saints was a foul play, though. I don't know how you can say all that, Taylor, and say that because, I mean, the ball's live. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still got the ball. He's up. He's like, I guess I love the Eagles, but I'm not going to suddenly, like, change. I tell you, bullshit, y'all. I didn't think the hit was the issue. I thought it was the spit. The spit, not the hit. Okay, and if you think it's dirty, then I guess I was a dirty player, and my whole D-line was dirty. You know, but this twisting motion was bullshit. Okay, so give me their schedule. We got their schedule up here. That Cleveland game is going to be a fucking bloodbath. Tennessee, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Atlanta, Kansas City, Tampa Bay.
They win 7 of them, man.
7 of the last 11? Is it 11?
I think they have 10.
Man.
They strike me as a team that will be good. Like I think they're pretty physical. I think they're tough. I think they play pretty complete football for the most part. Like, they protect well. Joe Alt is playing well. They play hard. They play for each other. It's like a little bit Lions-esque in a way.
Yeah. Pass rush got after yesterday.
Yeah, they have one of the best defenses in the league.
What about a receiver?
A team that's going to play really good in December. They just don't have offensive weapons.
What about a receiver, right? Like, okay, we've done this sequentially the right way here. I don't know how they feel about this, but, like, what about adding another receiver? What about adding a tight end? You know, I talked about Disley got all those targets last week. We like Disley, but we don't love him. People you love get 10, 11 targets on a Sunday. How about, you pointed this out for San Francisco possibly, Evan Ingram. Right? Like, Evan Ingram should be on somebody's list. You know, imagine San Francisco getting Evan Ingram and having those 2 tight ends to work with. But imagine, like, the Chargers having a tight end. Imagine them having one more piece outside.
Having Cooper Kupp.
I mean, after that game the other night, I don't know if he's for sale. And I don't know if that's in their organizational, like, kind of value system where it's like, we're going to give up a 2 for somebody. But, like, what do you think it's going to cost to go get Evan Ingram? What do you think it's going to cost to grab a, I don't know.
Well, you feel for Christian Kirk because he was about to get out of Jacksonville and go somewhere.
Wow, you just said something that I like the idea of. Garrett Wilson.
Man?
Yeah, Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson would be sick.
That's the type of guy that makes sense to give up a real draft pick for because you could sign him long term.
Yeah, he's young. Yeah. He's a damn good player.
Young.
Would the Jets
are minus 175 to make the playoffs? To Bo's point.
Would the Jets give him up though?
No.
Like,
no.
Not to shit. No, sorry to shoot you down, Bo.
Get him.
Well, no, I don't know. I don't know if they would, but, like, the Jets, I just gotta say, man, the Jets are. You want to get there right now?
Sure.
They're not going to sell though, because they want to. They just made all these drastic moves, and they want to show. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to sell a player like.
Dude, what a weird spot to be in. Like, what a weird spot to be in. Like, to go for broke and then 2 weeks later just be like, all right, we are broke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're fucked.
Like,
Cool.
wow, dude. And now we've got this older wide receiver, an older quarterback.
Embrace the darkness.
I don't know, dude. Like, where do you go from here? It's tough because I don't feel like anybody survives this.
Deontay Johnson?
Get the meme ready. Get the Wolverine meme
Deontay
ready.
Johnson, yeah. I mean,
with all
I don't
the Jets
like
fans.
I got to say, I don't think Deontay Johnson seems like a guy that I want putting with Justin Herbert. He just, from watching him in Pittsburgh, I always felt like it was something.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, sorry, I don't mean to be like a dick, but I just, nah. Like, let somebody else, And now maybe Harbaugh's culture is one that's strong enough, but just a little mistakes. He made a lot of little mistakes. Yeah, so when we're talking about the Patriots, I just wanted to tip my cap to them because, this is a game where your coach called you soft last week. We told you it wasn't. They're not soft. They're missing some guys and probably just not playing well. And, to come into this game, not getting swept by the Jets, thing of beauty, hasn't happened in years for this organization. And I'm just so happy for that group of guys that they got to enjoy win number 2 on the year. And for Gerard Mayo, who, probably slipped up last week, but maybe it was a net positive. I don't know. Maybe that led to a conversation behind closed doors that was really valuable for the team and for the head coach. It's kind of cool because you're watching the team grow, young quarterback grow, who, by the way, I hope he's okay. Like, that wasn't – I'm not – listen. What? I do. I hope he's fine. But, it's part of the risk of playing this kid early. It wasn't in the pocket. It's not this group up front didn't get him killed. He was out running for his life, wasn't he? Yep. But I kind of think about this team growing up together. Gerard Mayo, young coach, guys trying to make the transition from Bill. They're all in it together, man. Like, they really are. It's kind of a weird situation where the head coach can kind of level with you and say, hey, man, like, this is new for me too. I would imagine they had a conversation that was probably like, hey, I don't think you're soft. My bad. Let's go beat these fucking guys. Let's go. Everybody's going to be watching to watch Rodgers. And you know what's crazy? Nobody was watching. Nobody was watching. It's crazy. It's crazy. I never used to believe it that the Jets are cursed. I think the Jets are honestly cursed. Like, totally cursed.
Dumpster fire.
Just a dumpster fire, man. And, hey, we could ask if they could get back in it. Let's look at the Jets' schedule.
They've got play the Texans, and I think that's Thursday. That's this Thursday. Then they're at Arizona, have the Colts at home.
Loss.
Seahawks, at Dolphins, at Jaguars.
Win.
Rams.
Win.
So do you see a path forward here? Okay, scroll up. We got, you said
they might win 3 in a row for Seattle, Miami, Jacksonville, but everything else, if Indy plays Flacco, then
let's try to pick the Jets wins the rest of the year. Okay,
Houston, Texans on Thursday.
I don't think so. I think that defense. Now they are banged up right now, but I think they're too fast. I think they're going to be all over Rodgers. Honestly, I feel like this is the game that Rodgers, like, his face mask is sideways. Remember that whole thing? Now Arizona, they could shred Arizona. They won't
be favored in that game.
Yeah, they won't.
But James Conner's going to run the ball up their ass.
Yeah.
Okay, Indy, if Richardson's still there, I think there's your win.
Yeah. Then they have a bye week 12. So then they would be 3-8.
They'll lose the bye week somehow.
Or did you give them 2 wins?
I don't know. I mean, like, I can't say for sure any of these weeks.
Yeah. I think they'll be favored in 4 more games.
Bro, now it's to the point where if you are, and it's hard to tell this to, like, Joe Douglas and the group, because they're coaching and GMing for their lives. But, like, from an organizational standpoint, like, maybe you should just be focused on who's getting drafted early in the draft next year. And somebody here is going to call me, I don't know what you're going to call me, like a quitter or something, but
do we see something?
What are they doing well right now on a consistent basis? Like, I don't know.
Exactly.
Like how
All
can
year long, I can't name
Yeah,
one thing.
like
Jim Boob
Would
in the chat says GRILL grill.
Yeah, then we're gonna put them on the grill next week.
What were we gonna say?
Would you
Nate?
be-
I'll tell you, we're
Would
gonna
you be
smoke them
surprised?
next week.
would you be would you be surprised to see
Smoking that Jets pack.
12-hour roast. Sorry, Nick.
Would you be surprised to see any more movement like from the Jets before November 5th?
I would not be surprised
Yes.
to see them sell somebody. But no.
I would be.
But good luck convincing somebody to sell somebody for the good of the program. Not my problem.
Yeah, true.
How about when all this is said and done, Rodgers is going to be like the guy there?
I mean, Mike Williams, maybe. I don't know.
Who's the coach next year? Like, who do you bring in, and what do you do? Seriously,
Bill. Bring
Mike
Bill
McCarthy.
to the Jets.
Mike McCarthy.
Wow.
that kid.
What's the realistic?
Ben Johnson.
Corn said, "Dang, Chris, you're quitters." All right, tell me what's Rodgers' deal? He's gonna be there next year unless he retires. I could see him retiring.
That's the thing.
I could definitely see him retiring.
Going out bad, going out sad.
Yeah, I don't know if
he's not
he
going
doesn't
out
seem like a
sad.
guy. I think he'd rather like die on the field than quit or retire and not have won the Super Bowl.
Oh, no, he
going
seems
I don't
like
know
a
about dying on the
guy.
field,
Yeah.
but I don't see him going out like this sad. Like if the season like continues like this, like no way, like
I can see
I
him
see
being
him
like-
checking out.
I want to die with dignity. You know, like, you know, put me in the little thing, Dr.
Yeah.
Kevorkian, and let's get this over with.
Man,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Honestly, something to that. You know, because does he really think that one more year is going to do it? He might think that. I don't know.
I think so. I think he I mean, he seen Brady do it.
I mean, listen, I've taken some psychedelics. It doesn't make you unrealistic. Like, you know,
yeah.
I
If
know
anything-
what's what.
If anything, it makes you more realistic.
Yeah, I'm pretty realistic. I don't know. Hey, congrats to the Pats, man. Congrats to fucking Gerard Mayo and to Pats and the Pats fans. We just hope our guy Drake May is okay. And then lastly, the one guy that watched that game super intently, Cowboy Reed, talk to me about Godstein.
Dude, I was peeing in my pants at the beginning, but
Bo,
we're good.
throw
All
him
right.
up. That's all we need.
Sure.
That's the amount of
more.
wins. That's it. That's all
Just
we
need
need,
four.
Chris.
We just need 4 more wins.
That
Just four.
look at that, Chris. Halfway through the season, and all we need is 4 more wins.
Let's spot them.
I don't want to.
No, let's do it.
Next 2 weeks are rough at Baltimore
Yeah.
and KC.
Dude,
A
they
wo-
beat
a
Kansas
wounded,
City
a
last
wo- look,
year.
I'm gonna be positive. A wounded Baltimore. You got them
Yeah.
staggering in. You know what I'm saying? You guys just got a convincing win. You keep trending up while Baltimore's trending in the middle. You could walk away with this game.
I do what I do. So after Kansas City in Week 10, we play Atlanta at home, then we go to Vegas, then we play Cleveland. So
I don't think you're not getting 4 more wins. I don't.
4 more wins, bullshit. That's
pretty-
3 right there. We're gonna make Kirk feel silly. He's gonna come up into the atmosphere that is Denver
Damn,
and be wild.
Shake
Then we have our
up.
bye. We've got a late bye. I dig
Okay.
that. Week 14.
Yeah,
I
me
dig
too.
that. Then we've got Indy in Denver. We go to LA. We go to Cincy, and then we've got Kansas City at home.
Yeah. And I also like
What if Kansas
this
City-
time of year in Denver, it's hard to breathe. It's starting to get cold.
Can't find your breath.
Yeah, that's gonna start affecting.
You've got people. You got
I
guys
like
who are
that.
mic'd up, and they're like,
Hey, yeah.
That'll be good
Is
against
that
the Colts,
fluid in
though,
your
'cause then
lungs?
Richard's gonna be on the
Does that guy
sideline.
have edema? Hey, you were about to say something very wise, Cowboy. Last game of the season.
yeah, Kansas City. What if they're 15-1?
That's probably a win right there. The
'cause
way Kansas City has operated in the past.
if I do think that if they're undefeated, they might chase that
They might
undefeated.
chase the
But if they get a loss before, if they're coming in with the one loss,
I don't think
Kansas
City's going undefeated, bro.
I don't playing the way they are. I don't think so easy.
I'm Mr. fucking Red Kingdom. Welcome to the Red Kingdom. My son loves that song.
The Chief.
He plays it in the fucking. It's Tech 9.
Tech 9, the homie.
It was so funny last night, man. My kids missed the Hail Mary. I walked over from the office between the 4 p.m. and the late game, and they're sitting there like doing some other bullshit. And I'm like, guys, you didn't see the game? And I made them like pull up the Hail Mary, and it was incredible watching them. I mean, it was so fun to see them see it in real time. We're talking about the funniest thing is my kids are really into fantasy football, and as soon as because who caught the Hail Mary? Noah Brown. And Luke, my 5-year-old, goes, when it happens, he goes like this. He's like, jackpot's got Jayden Daniels on his team. and everybody else is like, oh, my God. And my other son is like, he sat him. And he's like, great play. It's like the kids, man, with the fantasy football, they already have the bug. So
Luke is all over those commercials.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Your kids know ball.
They know a little ball. Yeah, my son. Supposedly, I was talking in my sleep last night. And my wife this morning, this is after a couple weeks in my sleep, I said, anytime Tud. Anytime Tuddy, or whatever I said. And so my mind's on ball when I'm sleeping. And then last night, supposedly, I said, Fumblerooski. And I said, he's saying that. And I said, the kid's saying that too much. And
you said that in your sleep, the kid's saying that?
Swear to you. That's what Meg says. And that's what my 5-year-old and my 8-year-old will come up during the games while we're all watching. We'll take little breaks. So they come up. And he walks up, and he's up there 15 minutes. He said Fumblerooski 47 times.
He was just.
And I was like, what is that from, dude? And then the commercial comes on.
Fair enough. Coach Reed.
Like kids have to buy insurance. You know what I mean? Because that went way over my. When I first saw that commercial, I was like, who wrote the fucking script for this?
Yeah.
I got it down pack. Andy Reid's for the kids. Think about my nuggies.
Nuggies. But that's better. Say it again with those nuggies.
See, nuggies.
That makes a lot more sense. All right, so we got to do.
We got to say hi to BetMGM one more time because we're about to go to Moments. BetMGM Moments, which everyone has the best moments for. We're prepared this week.
Not all of us. As we head to our BetMGM Moments, thanks to BetMGM and all you football fans, I want you to picture something. You bet your favorite player as first touchdown scorer, but he throws a block to send a teammate into the end zone, and you lose, and you lost your bet, right? Wrong. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stakes back if your first touchdown scorer scores second. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Keep that in mind next time you throw in a first touchdown score bet with BetMGM. Happy hunting. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. I don't have a gambling problem. I have a gambling solution.
Our moment.
You guys know how I did yesterday. You know.
Best flight.
Well, 4-1, but in real life, it was on and popping. You've had a nice couple weeks as well. We are just riding high here at the studio.
I need some of that luck to rub off to other people, guys. Don't share. Don't
Broncos
hog.
minus 120 to win over 8.5.
Let's go.
I'm with you, bro.
4 more.
I'm with you. Maybe I'll bet the live win total.
We're gonna throw in a couple weeks. Nate and I are gonna throw 4 more up on our best flight. We're gonna fly somewhere.
Oh, dude, where y'all gonna go?
I don't know. We haven't decided yet. Maybe a Broncos game.
That'd be sick.
Yep.
First time me hearing about it, but I'm down.
All right, so we got mentions. You guys go first and second. I'll go third. Well, I think I'm like a person ordering at dinner.
Best flight.
Y'all go first.
Best flight. I'm going Cards. The Cardinals game-winning field goal. And what's better than having the world off your back for a week while the new Call of Duty is out for
2-0
for Kyler Murray.
Into the release. Get the KD ratio up. Early.
Get it up. Love it.
All right, what you got, Bo?
I'm gonna go with the Falcons. You get a fat win in Tampa against a division rival. Nice short flight up to Atlanta. Beat them in the creamsicles. Got to feel pretty good. You're on top of the division. You're back in Atlanta, Georgia, in about 1 hour and 5 minutes, Chris. I've taken that flight many times.
All right.
You had Josh Uche earlier.
Joshua
Uche.
Yeah. The people at the ticket counter were like, it's Uche. But no, he's going to Kansas City, and that's a lot better than New England. And there's more sunlight. The sun probably goes down a lot later in the winter. You know, I like Foxborough and everything, but Kansas City, I mean, it's a nice little town. And
I do not like Foxborough, Chris. It's like straight out of 1995, dude. They still have VHS rental stores up there.
Was it fun?
No.
The last Blockbuster actually closed this week in Oregon.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
The last one ever.
No way.
Ever.
Wow.
Rest
That
in
sucks.
peace.
What was going on up there?
I don't know.
Like
people still have VHS,
like a VHS
and DVD
area.
Worst flight.
Worst flight?
You had
obviously.
Who did I have?
You had Tyreek
Oh.
Stevenson.
Oh, Tyreek Stevenson.
Yeah.
Tyreek Stevenson's got the worst flight because
He's got
here's why Tyreek Stevenson had the worst flight. Obviously, here's what I imagine. After that happens, he's like, "Man, that was bad, but maybe it's not on the all 22." And if it is, and it was, it'll be there in the morning, and I can worry about it then. But for now, I just sip this fucking rum and coke and hide. I put my headphones on. I got my hood on. I'm in the back of the plane. But then there's a moment in the flight where everybody starts turning back and looking at you, and they start seeing the fucking viral video of you mugging up the crowd with all those targets on your head at the end of this game. You're going to be jacking off in the corner of the end zone when we're fighting for our lives. This is a game with playoff implications. And halfway through the flight is when I bet that fucking video went viral, or maybe just getting on the plane. And at once, people are like, did you see this shit? Can you imagine seeing that in your mentions and then looking around the plane?
Bro, going viral real time for something negative is probably one of the worst feelings ever. Ever.
Do you, real fast, just as if you're a defensive coordinator or a special teams coach, do you kind of, if you're on another team, do you spin this and be like, yo, box out, because if you want the interception, whatever, all these balls are going to get tipped. They're going to be right there. If that guy had played Noah Brown, he would have been in a better position to catch the pick, and that's what you tell.
No, you don't. You actually never try to catch a pick in that situation.
No, I know you don't. But is that like a way?
You put the biggest fucking guy out there.
I don't know about that one, Chris. Like you mentioned that earlier. Remember when the Patriots tried to do that with Gronk against the Dolphins?
No, you let him rush.
Remember that?
Yeah, but like you fucked it up.
You let Montez rush the passer. Like
that's
supposed
good.
to.
That's good. That's good. How many sacks besides the Malik Willis sack do you actually get on a Hail Mary? I mean, and Anthony Richardson yesterday, but that doesn't really count. What we're talking about
at the end of every game, dude, just blitz 5.
So blitz 5, but don't tell me that there's not somebody that can run around, because really, when you're rushing a Hail Mary, it's just about running around.
They did everything.
So put a fast guy out
Rush
there.
4 and
put
do a
Daryl.
spy.
Give
Have
me
you ever
4.
seen a spy on a Hail Mary? That's what they were doing last night. 53 was spying.
Just have that in
It's
with them,
happened.
Chris.
Huh?
We had that in. We had that in.
Yeah, but I still think you
were
got to
high
have
rush,
your biggest
remember?
guy out there.
What if you
high rush on one side, you low rush on the other, try to flush him out of the pocket away from his throwing arm, and then you put a spy on him?
What if you rush
Like
Tyreek Hill, like rush the quarterback on a Hail Mary? He just starts from way on the edge, and he just goes.
Oh, see, I kind of like that.
That would be nuts.
Or like act like the guy's not even on the field, like
Yeah,
kind of like Aiden Hutchinson did.
Yeah, or Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football. That would be crazy. Bo and Nate, worst flight.
I'm going with the Cowboys. The Cowboys are just losing, and they don't seem like they're gonna get any better, and they can't stop the run.
Yeah. Tough flight home from them.
Yeah, and I feel like as a defense, like after losing a game, after a team just like they've been like running on you, it makes that flight like worse. Just thinking about the next couple of days of practice and meetings and how like they always show that, like the rushing and like, hey, you guys just got your shit pushed in, and
That's the worst.
It's the worst.
That's the worst.
There's ways to lose where it's like it's not going to be that bad this week, but there's ways to lose when you're just like, damn,
I told you
this
this
week
would be the
is
worst
suck.
building in the NFL, as the Cowboys say. The Jets are up there, but like,
Yeah.
the Jets are the new Cowboys.
Yeah.
You know that?
Suck ass.
Yeah, and then they're both in
world.
they're both in systems
Yeah.
where the media is just harsh. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gonna be amazing for everyone else, for us on the outside.
They're Cowboys East.
yeah. yeah.
And the guy's name's Woody Johnson. and that's all that's on Jerry Jones's mind.
Woody.
Is all right. Speaking of that, did you guys see this?
I got my
Bo's worst fight.
worst
real fast.
fight. Jets. They scored 20-plus points, 0 turnovers, held the Patriots like under 250 yards, lost. Like darkness, pure darkness.
Yeah,
Fox,
darkness. You've been in the dark.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Yeah, that's tough. That's not fun for anyone.
You know what you don't do when you're in the darkness is you don't make all your friends come into the dark room. You know,
It's not real friends.
That's
Turn on the
what's-
light. You
That's
know?
what's going
Don't
on.
bring them into the darkness.
Misery loves
Turn on the
company,
light.
though. Misery loves company, Chris.
What were you gonna hit, Chris? Were you gonna go Bevel Conway?
All right, I guess people they don't know what I was freaking out about. The thing I was freaking out about was these guys on Iowa. What they did with their jersey. It's in the group chat.
I saw that.
I'm not going to give them an award. I'm just going to.
I saw that.
Can you guys put that up? It's in the group chat. That's what I was gawking at. Anyways, they really did that. It's almost like they've been planning that for. That's crazy. These 3 guys for Iowa, they out Fletcher.
Yeah,
You know, me and Fletch.
and that's what Greenlight retweeted it with.
No way.
Hat tip.
Golly, you guys got to see this.
But
Okay.
Bevel Conway.
Oh, Bevel Conway. Throw up my Bevel Conway first. This is truly visual. It's a picture. This is my my Paisan, my sweet Paisan, the MVP of the Eagles, the MVP of the Birds, with the Italian patch on his. Man, he looks good, bro.
He wears a headset?
Dom looks like
Yeah.
So this is the point. It's Dom in a headset. He's had the headset on the last couple weeks, and I gotta tell you,
I told you that.
they look better.
Didn't I say that last year?
Yeah, you said when they left they're gonna lose a bunch of games, and honestly, I'm starting to wonder if Dom is the blue
Cartiers
guy.
on.
He's got the Cartiers
He was
on.
when Jalen came
if he
over
had
to
transition
swap
lens-
shoes.
lenses?
Dom was right there. He had the headset. He was like just making
He
sure
was probably
everything
trying
was
to
cool.
figure out what was going on.
He was like, "Hey, are those shoes? What?"
This is a Bevel Conway if I've ever seen one. This is iconic. This is one of my favorite pictures of all time. I'm gonna get one blown up like this big, and Dom's gonna sign it.
Yes.
Coach
That's
Dom.
fucking-
Has a security guy ever wore a headset? Have you ever seen that?
No, but the more you can do.
The more you can do. I fucking love that.
Honestly, it feels like a brilliant troll job. The NFL like kind of they came down hard on him last year.
I get it. I understand it now.
Yeah, he's a coach.
You put him as a coach. Now you guys can't try to find a reason to kick him off the sideline.
Yeah, no, he's
That's
perfect.
brilliant. That is brilliant.
He's a glue guy. He's a
But-
glue guy.
And we've got Iowa.
Okay, this is what Iowa
Large
is doing.
Black Johnson,
I mean, that is just to the point, huh?
88-94, number 2.
That is to the point. What we're looking at for the audio listeners is 3 guys for Iowa holding up their jerseys in sequence, and it reads Large
Last name
Black
Large.
Johnson.
A white kid with the last name Black,
Yeah, that's interesting.
and then a light-skinned kid with the last name Johnson.
Yeah, well, so I think they seized the day. I don't know. I'd like to be there at the moment that they realized that they could do this.
Some great marketing for Catapult there.
For Catapult?
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's great marketing for something else. I don't know what it is, but that's crazy.
Bevel Conway, Bo and Nate.
I
I'll
am.
start us off.
ahead.
I tweeted about this yesterday while I was watching the Bucks game, but Vita Vea with the baggy creamsicle long sleeves, no gloves, really was doing it for me.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah.
phenomenal look.
That's a wild look, dude.
They said they
don't
they
love
said he
that.
looked like Drewski from the back.
Oh, God. Hey, that motherfucker Drewski is so funny, dude.
So funny. Oh, man. My Bevel Conway is going to Bills Seahawks in the rain. Nice rainy game in Seattle. I like that. Even though Seattle didn't play like they was at home, I like that. Play with the elements a little bit. Yeah.
Percep.
That time of year for Seattle. It's about to be pissing rain there for the rest of the year.
It's going to be
Pissing.
Sleepless in Seattle.
Man.
That's a movie.
I know. My dad used to live in Seattle.
Dan?
What is this in the chat? You reading this just chat? Chris smokes jazz flavored Black and Mild.
You look like
That's
a dude that would ask for a jazz Black and Mild.
That's
What
the
is the
second
jazz Black and Mild?
It's just a flavored Black and Mild. Like I smoke Black and Mild wines. Like there's a Black and Mild original.
But what does jazz taste like?
like something for some white people.
Really? Really?
Yeah, it's like a weird flavor. I don't know what the actual flavor is for jazz, but it's like
We'll shoot them up. What's the flavor of jazz Black and Milds?
And that's the
I would
second.
compare that to like smoking American Spirit, which I feel like, I've smoked those before. You're about to say that.
No. You racist.
That's the second mention of jazz
I
Black
smoke,
and Mild.
believe it or not, I smoke menthols.
today.
Yeah.
Whatever menthol I can get my hand on. Well, this is an admission of a sig habit. I don't have a sig habit, but if I'm on a bachelor party,
Menthol.
like eventually
Newport.
we're going to be buying some Newports.
Newports.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm an American Spirit yellow guy.
See?
Ooh, yeah, there you go.
See?
So with Jeff Passan, too. Jeff Passan comes on this podcast. The baseball guy, Jeff Passan, openly admits to ripping American spirits.
Yeah.
They say those take like 5 minutes to smoke. Didn't we bring one in for Jeff Passan
We
one day and I
did, you
tried to
ripped
smoke
it.
an American
Yeah.
Spirit? And that thing is brutal, bro.
I smoked the rest of the pack.
I bet you did. I bet you did.
I didn't want to call you out, but I literally was gonna say I feel like Matt Kingston has definitely smoked the Black and Mild jazz in his lifetime before.
Yes, I have.
But the standard Black and Milds are just the standard Black and Milds.
Yeah, they're a little
That's
harsh.
what-
They're a
I
little
used to
harsh. It's just
smoke the
cigar.
standard Black and Milds.
The wine is where to go.
But we used to smoke the standard Black and Milds with nothing in it, like in college.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
you want to get in trouble there.
Yeah.
So it'd just be like, we'd just be out ripping Black and Milds at 3 a.m,
Yeah.
which is terrible.
Yeah. I mean,
You got to have something in there.
it's all right.
Yeah. Smoking's bad in general.
Anti-Bevel Conway.
Anti-Bevel Conway.
I can start this one off. I got a bone to pick. I am so sick and tired of the same 5 ads that have been rolling through my TV when I'm watching 18 hours of football over the weekend.
You mean political ads?
Well, the political ads, Chris, I understand that we're in a election year. Did you know that? But
I didn't know that.
I am a little sick of the political ads, but I understand but like the stupid Starbucks ASMR ad that's been going lately has been killing me. I hate that one. I'm seeing Kelsey every other ad. Like, we get it. Although I do like the one Buffalo Wild Wings one with what he says one line in that one that fucking gets me every time. What is it? Like,
See, I do like.
I
football.
do have a brother.
Yeah, I do have.
That-
a
Oh,
brother.
wait. So you're anti-Kelsey ads.
Let's say
And then the like a showboat. I overdid it. That one, the Peyton Manning ad. Like, I just can't
like Peyton.
anymore.
Peyton.
that's hey.
Yeah,
you
but
talking
do
about
you get
Peyton
the ad?
Manning?
Do you get
yeah,
it?
do you understand it?
Do you get it?
He's Peyton.
He's Peyton.
He's Peyton
Peyton.
Manning.
Oh.
Yeah, so it sounds like Peyton.
Oh,
She's not sure.
Oh.
And eventually she's just like,
Are you?
good job. You don't get
I
that?
never got that. No,
That's
I
interesting.
put that together.
No, he's
There's no
Kidding.
way.
He's kidding.
Okay.
He's kidding. He went to Wisconsin.
What?
Smart guy.
Hold on a minute, play.
But yeah, the ads, anti-bevel. Like, let me get some new ads. I need something new. Shove some different shit down my throat. All right, I can't. I can't do it.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Fuck. My kids are sitting there. It's like, you think you're watching the 49ers, and next thing you know, it's like it's like people screaming and hitting each other with objects in the street and rioting, and like it's like they're all these fucking campaign ads.
Right.
I'm like, Jesus, the kids are watching this shit. You know what I mean?
Kamala for they, them. Trump is for you.
I like the Beyonce leave I mentioned that. Yeah, Trump is there. Yeah.
That's like I felt like I woke up the other night and like literally that commercial was on, and it just like as soon as I woke up and heard it, it just made me laugh. And like
it's so simple.
It's so crazy.
It's such a simple plan of attack. But it works.
It really
it's working right now.
I know.
I understand. All right.
Oh
what's
my
next?
God.
What's next?
You have your anti-bevel, as does Nate.
Anti-bevel. Fuck. You go first.
Anti-bevel. Seeing Scott Stadium sprinkled it with no fans and no one on the hill. That's my anti-bevel.
You just got here?
Oldest rivalry of the South.
You just got
we lost, and it's just, I don't know. It's a bad
Weren't
scene.
a lot of people in there.
Scott Stadium does not look the same when there's not a bunch of fans in there.
Weren't a lot of people in there. All right. Bevel Conway. Do I anti-Bevel Conway? Fuck. Let me tell you. You guys just just talk.
This one's optional. We can just
fly on the wall.
No, I know. I just feel like such an asshole. You know.
You shouldn't.
Probably the fact that Tampa Bay Bucks and the Falcons played, and the Falcons are in their modern shitty uniform, and you should have the creamsicles with like an old school Jeff George setup. Like that would look awesome.
So sick.
I don't know. That's anti-bevel to me.
That's a good one.
Fly on the wall. I am going with, I wish I was a fly on the wall in the Ravens plane after a loss like that, after seeing them, everyone going on live after a win, how upset Lamar was about them being on live.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't imagine how Lamar sending
If somebody went on live.
or
Humphrey wasn't on that flight.
Flight.
Or was he? Was he injured on the sideline? Was he just hanging out on the
Did
sideline?
he take the trip? Who knows?
Yeah. Fly on the wall? Is that what we're doing?
That's what we're doing.
Fly on the wall. What's Dan Campbell talking about when he said a trade might be coming up? He just said that a little bit ago.
Smile.
Exciting. You think they want to get 4-4 from Jacksonville?
Well, I was expecting him to be like, yeah, there's an acquisition coming up, not a trade, you know?
Oh, I see what you're, yeah.
You know?
Like someone's about to leave. I would be, my butthole would be tight, right? If you're in the locker room?
No, I'm joking. I'm just saying because we called the Lions a couple weeks ago and offered them and then we asked them if they're drug tests, and that was funny as fuck. But I really do think it's probably for sure a defensive end, and I would love for it to be Zadarius Smith because we called it if so. Although, anyways. What's going on there? What's next?
Bo.
I got a fly on the wall. I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall on the Seattle sideline during that little scrap defensively that they had. I think it was who was it? Jerron Reed and Derek Hall kind of getting into it on the sideline.
Oh, they got into it?
We talked about that.
And they did make up right after, but yeah, for a couple seconds it got a little heated.
Yeah. But I want to know, like, I've been, I've argued with people on the sideline before, and then it's all love. It's game day. Emotions are high. I just wanted to know, like, what petty words were, like, they definitely, like, when you're around a guy that much, like, you kind of have some shit in the chamber ready to go in case you get into it. Like, what did they say to each other,
Oh, yeah, that's the worst. You ever want to find out what the truth, how somebody really feels, just piss them off. Piss them the fuck off. They'll tell you.
Best seat.
Best seat.
Go ahead, Nate.
I'm going with the Washington clock operator who definitely was home cooking, and by him home cooking and not starting that clock on time, I honestly think he gave Jayden Daniels and the Commanders the chance they even had to get to the Hail Maryland that they ended up
Hail
completing.
Maryland.
Yes.
Is that somebody else doing that?
I heard Dan Patrick say it, and I love it. I don't know if
hey, that's
is.
really good to credit him.
Yeah, but I loved hearing it when he said it, and I think that's what it should be remembered as.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Greenlight podcast.
But yeah,
that's crediting.
And you got to think about it. The refs going back to the clock and having to manually like kind of set the clock there. They could have maybe not
I think they
miss
tried
the
to
second.
they
tried to get it
They tried to
perfectly.
correct it. I'm pretty sure they have a way to do it correctly. But one thing is it gives them a little extra time to figure out what they're doing next.
Everything. I love it.
You know?
That's how you do home cooking.
That is how you do home cooking. Shit.
What you got, Bo?
I got one. Best seat. Best seat is, picture this. You are a rabid Detroit Lions fan. It is halftime at Ford Field. Your team is up 35-14 over a dog shit Tennessee Titans team. You're the absolute cream of the crop in the NFL right now. Everything's going your way. It's halftime. Maybe you're enjoying some nachos, a nice cold beer. All of a sudden, they trot out a corgi race at Ford Field for halftime. Peak ultimate high vibes right there. Your team's winning. You get to watch these comical little dogs run around on the field.
Oh, that's great.
You're loving life.
Oh, look at him. Look at him. Dan Campbell would fucking run power at those dogs if he had to. If he had to, he would destroy those
Lido.
Trampled.
Best seat, worst seat. I don't know that I have one. You guys are up.
Worst seat, Bo.
Worst seat. I got one. I'll mix it up for you a little bit, Fax. Worst seat. My worst seat goes to riding shotgun in Jerry Jones' family car.
Oh, I heard about
For the
that.
game on
Yeah.
Sunday night.
They said a
You're about to get your
barrier.
asshole blown out by the fucking Niners. You probably know it because your team sucks. Next thing you know, your car crashes into the barricade at the stadium.
When's the
You're gonna
last
deal
time-
with that on your way up to the box?
When's the last time you think Jerry really drove a car? You think he drives?
No.
No, he's had some kind of driving Miss Daisy situation going on for like 40 years.
That's
for
what
sure.
I want. I want a driving Miss Daisy situation. Driving is the most inefficient thing in the world. Like, you lose so much time driving that you could be doing other shit.
Driver.
Like this morning,
You heard of this little
Nolan
app
drove the
called
car in.
Uber, Chris?
No, it's great, but then you got to be with like a stranger, and even when you say like silence preferred, you know, they start talking.
I think you're gonna enjoy it when your kids, get to do the test driving and everything, because that is you've got a chauffeur at home. Oh, you need hours on your sheet? Let's go. Take me. I've got to go over here. I've got to go. That's what my
know,
parents
but
did.
I really I want to sit in the back and I don't know, just not worry about anything.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
true.
saying? And
Worst
my kids-
seat. Breaking news. Tom Brady figuring out that your ex Giselle is expecting her first child with boyfriend Joaquim Valente. Tough.
I'm trying to think
I'll
of what
switch
to
those
say.
Nothing is fine.
No, the question is, does that guy have 6 fucking championships or whatever? Does he have any rings?
I don't think so, Chris.
Checkmate. Hey, Brady's doing just fine, I think, probably. I think he's probably fine.
Yeah.
It's probably fine.
Worst seat was, I'm sorry to do this to the UVA fan base, but me at Scott Stadium, I feel like last couple times
Just
I've
a
been
couple of words.
yeah, like it's just,
It's
I
just
don't know.
railing against the game day experience.
Yeah, man, like it's just, it's not fun watching your college team lose.
No, it is not.
It's just not.
No, it's not.
Like
not.
there's no way around
Enough
it.
said. I don't even want to think about it. Hollow Man? You want me to give you a Hollow Man with all those Hollow Men?
Yeah.
Like Tyreek Stevenson should win them all.
Yeah, he should.
He should win them all.
Sweep.
You could rename that award after.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
How about the probably? Let's see. You guys go.
Okay,
I got one.
Go ahead.
Imagine toiling your entire life as an interior lineman. Okay. You're grinding. You get no love. There's no national backup center day. Okay. Finally, for once in your ill-begotten life of just
Ill-begotten.
This is
riding
good, Doug.
combo blocks and calling out mic protections, you finally get a run play dialed up for you. Your name is Doug Kramer. It's a huge game. You could score the go-ahead touchdown
Doug
against the
Kramer.
Washington Commanders,
Mm.
and your rookie quarterback is not able to get you the ball, and you don't get any of that glory, and you end up losing the game on a Hail Mary touchdown pass. My Hollow Man is Doug Kramer, backup center.
The entire country sees the
I'll go
ball
here.
bounce 5 yards off your chest. Just go boing.
Yeah, but you still. I would like to argue that if I were Doug, I'd still blame somebody else.
Oh, well,
Because hey, bad call.
Yeah, why
Yo,
would
yeah.
they give
And
that
also, didn't you score again?
Yeah, they did
You
it
know?
out there. And low key, if you really look at the play closely,
Look at it closely, fact.
it's Caleb's fault. Like, he thought he was handing the ball off to Roshan Johnson, which he should have been, and he tried to put the ball in the wrong spot for the old lineman who's bigger. And
Is that factual?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like, yes, bro. Like, he did not hand the ball off the right spot, but he shouldn't be handed to a lineman.
No, I agree. I agree, bro.
Who you got, Nate?
Hollow man, I'm
More about just getting that one chance at a sliver of glory
yeah.
and having it just fall right through your taped up fingers.
Yeah.
My hollow man is going to the artist of the D Wade statue. Because
Oh, that's bad.
because if you felt like you did a good job with that, as soon as it was revealed, everyone talking about how bad
Who
your work
is that,
is.
bro?
Dude, he looks like, you know the movie I Am Legend? He looks like one of the creatures from that movie.
Dude, that's wild. I mean, like, it's not even. I wouldn't if I had 100 guesses on what famous person that is. Can you zoom in? Can you enhance? Enhance. Oh, you can't. I'll just enhance it on my screen. Who would you guess that is? Like, if you had to guess who that is, who is that? In the chat, who is that? It's not Dwayne Wade.
It's not. How about Dwayne Wade in his speech saying, "Who is that guy?"
Yeah. There was a video after it gets revealed of Dwayne Wade and his son looking at each other, just kind of like
No way.
Holding it laughing.
right here,
No
right
way.
here, this. Just
Oh,
you
that's
can tell
so
his son
funny.
being like,
Yo, the look from his son.
His son is
Yo,
hilarious.
that is
for
the
that.
best fucking thing ever. Yo, that is the best clip ever, dude.
bro. Because
And-
it's like you gotta
Bro, I love
appreciate.
Dwayne Wade,
like it's
bro.
like you gotta appreciate it because it's like, damn, it's a statue of me and they're celebrating me. But guys,
Look at this.
this doesn't look like me.
whoever did the Ed Reed bust should just do every single one.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, if I were,
Ed Reed
if
was
I were
perfect.
doing statues, I don't know if you could pay me enough.
Yeah.
You know, because inevitably you're gonna fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly.
No, the Ed Reed, that's done well. That's done well. This is so funny watching their reaction to that statue.
Yeah.
I don't have anything, guys. There was too much football. There were no bye weeks. I was too busy watching every game.
All good. Let's go to
I got
STL
another
Memorial.
hollow man for you, Chris. Anthony Richardson.
Oh, Anthony Richardson. I thought about that, but I was like, man, how much are we gonna kill him on this show?
STL Memorial. Who you got, Nate?
I got Lad McConkey, 2 touchdowns, had a real good game. Yeah, STL Memorial.
Listen, I'm afraid to give him this because I think Bo's going to be like, oh, now you're going to give him this? But, like, Jared Verse, I mean, he played great the other night. Bo compared him over text to, like, young Mac. I was like, man, that's a little much. But I do think some of – he's got 2.5 sacks on the season. Rams fans, if they're counting the numbers, are going to always be like, why isn't he finishing more? But he is disruptive as fuck. And I think it was fun. I speak for all of us watching him the other night. And, like, on a weekend where everything kind of got – like, there were so many big moments Sunday. I think we already forgot about Thursday night because of the call, because of the gravity of the situation for both teams. But, like, that was a really, really good game for those young rushers. And then I saw him mic'd up afterwards. This dude was out for blood, bro. Like, I'm loving the way he plays. So, Bo was on it as well. It was just a big night from Jared Verse.
Speaking of Bo, STL Memorial.
Have I already
Bo
given
Nix
that?
played a pretty good game, Cowboys. You should be happy. They were running up the score against the Panthers.
Oh, yeah. We got
John Payton said some funny shit about their defense, too.
He wasn't running it up.
Yeah.
The Panthers were just bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Just bad.
So tell me this. JC
284 yards,
Yeah.
by the way. A couple touchdowns. I think 3 touchdowns. Played well.
JC Horn got mad at the end of that game. It was
Yeah.
JC Horn at the end of that game.
Mm-hmm.
You watched the end of that game. I have not gotten to the end of that game. Was it running up the score? I heard the Panthers were calling timeouts and shit at the end of the game.
Yeah, I think it was 4th down.
Sean is like that.
Yeah, and
That's what he does.
so like the first one they're talking about the fake punt.
Right.
It was at our 43, or their 43. Sorry, and we tried to fake punt. I mean, what do you like? All other teams do that too.
How much time
Just
left?
stop.
There's
Stop 'em.
10 minutes in the 4th,
You
And
can't
what's
get
the
mad.
score?
and it is 28-7 at that point. You know, that's like
That's not blowout
I
territory.
personally am of the mindset of like, hey, we have to stop it.
yeah.
But
right.
there are people, like if you are looking at it through a lens of is it running up the score or is it not running up the score, like in a world where you think of things that way, it is running up the score, in my opinion. But you are a professional. You got to stop it, right? Like we've been in this situation. I've been in this situation where Sean, I feel like, was running up the score on us. 47-7 or whatever it was
Yeah.
down in New Orleans.
And then there was a 4th and 2 at Carolina's 43. That at 4:29 left. That was the Cortland Sutton deep ball to Michael Burton.
So they
trick
took
play.
a shot.
Took a shot because both through
Did they get it?
Yeah, they got it. We completed it, and that's when we drove down and Cortland fumbled the ball. That one's a little more obvious, but
Yeah, did you run trick plays and fake punts? You know, kind of though an opportunity to play devil's advocate here, an opportunity to get things like that on tape to make
Yeah.
people think about things.
yeah,
like
exactly.
True.
And
that. I don't
and
think that's why
Sean Payton did after the game said Carolina's a bad team.
he said bad.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure like whatever was said at midfield probably.
It led into that for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Game ball.
Ooh, game ball.
Game ball. My game ball is going to the Black Tebow, Jalen Hurts. 3 rushing touchdowns. He had a great game.
Wow, what?
What?
I was nodding my head and then
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Yeah, the Black
I thought you were
Tebow.
gonna say Jameis, the Black Tebow.
No, the Black Tebow, Jalen Hurts. Why not? I mean, people call Bo Nix the white Michael Vick, so why can't I say that he's the Black Tebow?
Because when you call Bo Nix the white Michael Vick, it's like a joking compliment towards Bo Nix. And not everybody does that. I did it the last couple years because it's so not true. It was like that was the joke. He's just so not Mike Vick.
So jump on the joke.
Okay, as long as it's a joke. But it's kind of like it's kind of a shot.
That's what's good about the joke.
Oh my God, I disagree.
But that's who I'm giving
disagree.
that's who I'm giving my game ball to. Who's your
Okay.
game ball going to?
My game ball is going to. I forgot who my game. I'm going. I need to take a moment.
Bo,
after
who'd
hearing
you,
that.
game ball, who'd
I
you
need to
have?
Take a moment.
Unwavering faith.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one.
334 yards, 3 touchdowns, a fat win for the boys. Man of God,
Chad is mad at Nate.
Black Tebow.
The chat's gonna be mad at Nate, and just know that I don't agree with whatever he just said. That's wild. I'm gonna tell you who's like Tebow. Bo Nix is like. I said this before. Tebow walks so Bo Nix could run. Okay, game ball. Damn. I mean, there were just so many great performances to choose from yesterday. I'm going to go with Travis Kelce. You know, clearly it's election time. They're feeding him the ball, right? He's an operative. So it was really, really well done by the DNC. You know, there's a little look
They
over
gave
here.
him a lot of shots.
Oh, this Beyonce shit is so see-through and ridiculous. Look over here. No, it's really about Kelce. He's going to get the ball. No, I really do want to give it to Kelce because that was a big day for him.
Bo,
First
who's our
touchdown of
drip
the season.
king of the week?
Oh, thank you for asking. Matt Kingston, the drip king of the week, is
Thank you for asking.
Myles Garrett, rolled up in a T2 outfit. He's kind of a Halloween guy. I don't know if you guys
Kind of, dude.
kept up with this over the years. In the past, he's put up like graveyards of quarterbacks that he's sacked.
He's in whiteface?
I fucking love
No, I didn't want to miss. Yeah, but he definitely rolled up in whiteface.
Yeah. Whiteface.
How can you tell that's
it's okay
him?
with me.
No, it's not whiteface.
Look at him, dude. What?
But boy, is that scary as fuck? Because he doesn't look anything like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It just looks like just a a dude that big in a leather jacket, like you can like when he walks by, you can hear the straps and the zippers. He's fucking 300 pounds of muscle, dude. That guy makes Terminator look like child's play.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
That was very good.
That was good.
That bar fight was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Everybody in there, like my favorite part is in like a bar fight like that when everybody in there realizes that they have no shot and they still keep trying to punch Arnold.
Cigar out on him.
Oh yeah.
God, I love that movie.
They could not believe it. They couldn't believe it. It's a great movie. I was watching it like 2 weeks ago, honestly. I went back for a couple minutes and it's just as good.
Fuck it. I'm going to throw that up right now, dude. And Arnold gave him a shout out too, which is just, man, I would kill for that. What a guy.
Viral moment of the week.
Going right back to it. Sorry, guys. It's too big not to. My viral moment of the week is going to the Commanders' local radio station. Their call on the radio live for that Hail Mary. It was absolute gold.
One fly. Goes to the right side. Steps away from the defenders. Gives himself some time. Now steps up. Fires. Heads towards the end zone. It is.
Sounds like us in the crib.
Yeah, we were making the same noises. Yo, dude. Those guys sound foreign.
Because it's just like
yeah, I thought it was like the K-League or something. Like that's crazy. I couldn't even I couldn't make out what they were saying. That was nuts. What other sport in the world turns you into sports in general, but like isn't that crazy the way grown men go nuts over that?
I envision that like happening like a Major League, like the movie Major League, and Bob Uecker just he got him.
Oh, yeah.
He got him.
Bob Uecker.
That's good.
No, I mean like I just consider what we get to watch every Sunday that makes us react that way. Like there is nothing else in the world. Like playing tables somewhere, I guess. If you're into that.
I guess
like,
if you're
sports, bro.
Yeah.
Sports. Life would be so boring without sports. Holy shit.
And talking about boring without sports, shout out to the kid. This was just announced. The 10-year-old kid who caught Freddie Freeman's walk-off grand slam. He didn't know he was going to the game until he got to the stadium. His parents told him he was going to the dentist.
No way. And how about the time on those?
Yeah. How nuts was that?
That's nuts.
Wasn't that crazy?
It was what, 8:36 p.m. or something?
Yeah.
West Coast time. More importantly, 11:36 p.m. East Coast time, which means I didn't see either one of those motherfuckers. One of them I wasn't even alive yet, but I
think in our group chat there were about
there were
8
like,
texts that came through, and then you were like, "What's going on,
bro?" Like I thought a bomb went off. I thought we were getting nuked.
Oh,
I was like laying in bed trying to go to sleep, and dudes are like, "OMG,
oh my God.
OMG, oh no," and I'm just like, "What the fuck is on TV right now that like could be this important?" I forgot about the World Series.
That's how I feel about most of the time in the group chat, like when it starts pinging.
It was wild. Okay, viral moment.
So Monday Night Football tonight.
No, I got viral moment.
Oh, you have one too?
Yeah.
Oh.
Debo had pneumonia. 2 days in the hospital.
It's viral.
It came out.
He didn't take a fucking playoff, though, did he, Fax?
I get it. I get it. It went over his head. I get it. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. Chris, you're funny, man.
Before we go, any thoughts on Monday Night Football?
You're funny. He's really trying to get us to coach it.
This is going to be awesome. Are you kidding me? I hope they score 12 points.
Oh, no. Tonight's Russell's night.
Okay, I hope it is because I threw in a teaser last night with the Niners and these boys. So
same.
Now that I got a little money in the bank, we might have to go big on the Steelers. What is it, 5.5?
6, I believe.
I think I have Steelers at -13.5 for tonight.
Oh, you got alt line?
Yep.
Oh,
and
man.
Nate, what first touchdown score are you betting on BetMGM tonight?
Because I think the Giants are about to get in the dumpster with the Jets. I am betting Pittsburgh defense, first touchdown, plus 3,000. Daniel Jones is known for throwing pick sixes, and the Giants offense is not convincing. So I'm thinking, why not? And then if they don't score the first touchdown and they end up scoring the second touchdown, you get your money back. So I think it's a
What's an
pretty
anytime
decent play.
touchdown look like for that defense?
Maybe
Anybody
plus
know?
500, maybe.
That sounds fun. Maybe parlay that with a
It
let's
is
see.
exactly plus 500, Nate.
Parlay that with a Washington touchdown. That would go crazy.
Ooh,
Think about that. I'm waiting for Big Fella to get in the end zone.
ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
Hey,
Great show.
thank y'all for being here. Seriously. You guys are the best. You in the chat, the best. We love you. We absolutely love you. And join us again this Friday for the preview show.
9:30 a.m. Eastern will be right here.
9:30 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, shout out to Kyle Long. Love you, bro.
What happened?
We'll talk about it later.
What did he do?
We needed to send a wellness check on him after the Bears game.
Oh,
last
yeah.
night. Yeah.
Do you
He's
remember?
all good. Everything's
Fine. I
he's
think
all right.
probably.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Yep. It was
Listen,
probably hard for a little while, but he's good.
he's Florida man now. Take care, buddy.
Take care.